All right, hello. My name is EJ Ninja, aka Julia, and today we're doing the Power Rankings for JDL Season 2. I'm here with Lex and Maggie. Guys, say hi.
Hello.
Hi, hi.
Yeah, so we're doing we have 20 players this season. Uh, we have them all. They're actually so I make sure that we have the sheet set up correctly. We're gonna go player by player, basically. Give our thoughts on their team, where we'd rank them, anything we'd change on their team, and the first thing that we should start with is, let's start with Andro's team because we're going to go alphabetically. I guess why not? Makes most sense.
Yeah.
So Andro's team is Landorus Incarnate, Heatran, Alola Ninetales, Slowking, Titan, Alolan Muck, Bramblegast, Sirfetch'd, Morpeko, and Spidops. And I believe, has he declared his Terra Captains by now?
Yes, so Titan, more
It's a
Pekko above
Titan.
Terra,
Thank
and
you.
Spidops is Z, I
Yeah,
think.
okay, so we have Terra Titan with Ice, Fairy, and Ground, Z Captain Morpeko, and Bug, Water, and Steel Spidops. So first place start is we talk about what we really like on this team. I think the Snow Core can absolutely be really threatening with Alolan Ninetales, Slowking, and Titan. Uh, I think Titan is a really strong mon. It's got a lot of health. It kind of doesn't even doesn't really care. Especially with Aurora Veil from Alolan Ninetales, it can be really scary, especially with Belly Drum sets. I think the other big thing is you have a lot of both physical and special threats. Like you do have Tail. You have Titan on the physical side, but you also have Surfetch as well to back it up, and then you have Heatran, Lando Incarnate, and then even Slowking can be a really good special threat.
Yeah, and with the snow core, I do like that you've only got one snow abuser, but it is a very good snow abuser, and you have two snow setters, which is kind of redundant, but they do very different things as mons.
Yeah, yeah.
One is very bulky, but the other is faster and can set the Aurora Veil, because Slowking can't set Aurora Veil.
Mm-hmm.
I think also looking more at this team, I think it has really good hazard control. You have two stealth rockers. Heatran is the really standout one though as a stealth rock setter. I feel like you'll be running rocks on it more than Lando.
Yeah, but Lando can also run
Oh
rocks.
yeah,
Lando
it
really
can.
only has like 2 or 3 attacks it wants to
So
run most of
yeah,
the time.
usually you just bring, at least for special sets. I don't know if how it changes the physical ones. Usually, because I think it actually has it has a higher attack than Spatak, but usually just because of access to Sheer Force Life Orb, it finds itself running special attacks way more often. Especially because then it can run Earth Power, which is which becomes the strongest stab. I guess it could actually run Sandseer Storm if it wanted to. But
It could, but that move is
you're
not
trading power
reliable.
for accuracy. Yeah. Honestly, if it was a
Yeah,
ranged move,
I'm
I
a
would.
big fan of Sheer Force Lando.
Mhm.
It's not a mon. I mean, I brought it every week in the draft league where I had it. And while it was never like a standout, insanely good mon, it was always there in the back every week in case things went wrong. It's a great
Yeah.
emergency button.
Yeah, because I think a lot of Pokemon struggle to switch in on it. It can also run Rock Polish sets, which can actually make it an end game threat.
And the
Uh,
team does technically have webs.
yes, it
However, the webs are
does.
Spidops, which is
Yeah.
how often
Mm-hmm.
is that coming?
Nah. I mean, I will say, I think hazard control as well. You have your rapid spinners both do really like running rapid spin. Your defoggers, not so much. As we were saying, the Lando can run it, especially because it only really runs it'll run Earth Power, a coverage, and Psychic or Sludge Wave. And then it has two move slots open, so it could be rocks and then Rock Polish, or it could be defog Rock Polish. I don't think it'd be running rocks and defog at the same time.
I believe it gets U-turn as well, which is a
Uh,
nice option to
it
run on
does,
it.
yes. I guess the issue is you don't get the sheer force boost, and so you do take damage from your life orb, which, especially when you're not physically invested, I think that can actually really hurt you. Uh, I think Parting Shot on Morpeko as well is something that I think Morpeko for tier 5 has some really nice utility.
Yeah, especially with you have access to Z parting shot with it, so you can fully heal up. You know, your Lando or your Heatran.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, no, that's another important thing.
Yep.
I guess the issue though is if Morpeko is running, Z moves, it can't run Boots or Focus Sash, which could hurt a little bit. But overall, I don't know if I'd call it too much of a concern. I will say, one big gripe I have with this team is that it feels really slow.
Yeah, I mean, we have touched on the fact this team does have webs, but they're not real webs.
It's one of the, I would say it's one of the most unreliable web setters, in all honesty, in Spite Ops. I would say, like even, like, Vivillon, I'd say is a better web setter, because I believe Vivillon gets webs. Just because Vivillon...
I mean, you do have a Slush Rush mod as well, so that does help.
My specific note is that it's slow outside of snow. So you only have the 2 Pokemon above 100, but you do have that Slush Rush mod, so that, like, really does really threaten it. However, my other big issue is I feel like this team, in order to become, like, really threatening into end games, it might need the setup, and that could actually hurt this team. Because, like, I feel like Lando... Does Lando get any other, like, setup moves? I feel like it gets Nasty Plot.
It might get Plot.
It does. Yeah, so that makes it, like, really threatening, but again, it needs, like, Nasty Plot, and even that it's not exactly a super fast Pokemon, and Lando Incarnate is actually pretty frail.
Yeah, it's like you kind of want to double dance it, but you can't really double dance it, or you need a choice item, which either means you're not getting the speed, or, I mean, you Life Orb.
Yeah.
As well.
Like, that's what
but you could also run Scarf if you need to.
You could, but I kind of don't. I feel like that wouldn't be that good, in all honesty. So Titan actually doesn't get Swords Dance. It doesn't get Bulk Up either. So its only boosting move is Belly Drum. It's a really good Belly Drum user because of how much health it has. But as I said, Belly Drum especially, because you're probably not running Boots anymore, which as an Ice type means it's super vulnerable to Rock, because you're probably running Citrus Berry. With its health,
speaking of rocks in general. This team only has a single rock resist.
Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, it's only in Surfetch as well.
Yeah, because your steel type is part fire, and your ground type is part flying, so they're both taking neutral from rock.
So this team actually did have Druddigan before and traded it for Surfetch, which I think the team still has other issues. Like, it's only fairy resistance Heatran, but it only has 2 weak Pokemon weakness. It's lower tiers, so it's not as important. Like, none of your carry threats are weak to fairy.
And Heatran is a very good fairy resist.
But, like, Fire is still pretty threatening against this team. Fire, you have a few ground weak models. You do have Lando. But no, that rock weakness, especially with Ice Cores, I would really love... Like, I think Heatran is really good here. I would love, like, another ground type, almost. Or maybe even, like, a it definitely needs a better rock resist, because I feel like that, especially with an Ice team and a ground flying type, could really, really threaten your games. A ground flying type as well that can't run Boots because its item is spoken for based on Life Orb in order to really do damage. So I think that puts you in a little bit of a weird position. However, I would say I have this team actually rated really highly. I do really like this team. I think while I was saying, like, Titan does really need, like, setup to, like, win games, with Chilly Reception...
Once it sets up, it can win games. And it's pretty easy to get into that situation.
Especially with Chilly Reception. It's very easy from, like, a more utility or defensive mon, Titan for you to Chilly Reception Slowking. Titan comes out, you Belly Drum, and that could be game. Depending on the state of the game, that could end it. I mean, even that.
And as Lex pointed out earlier, I think it is interesting to consider that with Z parting shot access, you actually have double the chances to Belly Drum.
That's actually a good point. I didn't think about that. Because, yeah, even with, like, Stealth Rocks, I don't know if it heals you before Stealth Rocks damage or after. I think that's something I'd have to check unless Lex, you know, because you've used Z parting shot before.
Funnily enough, I actually have not used Z parting shot. I had it on a mod with the intention of using it, but I ended up not bringing it the week I had it as a Z mod, and then dropped the Z Captain off it. So I do not know the specifics on how it works like that.
Yeah, I mean that's
I'm assuming it comes in. I'm assuming it starts after.
Wait, I mean, I use Mag as well, Maggie. Do you happen to remember if it does or not? Because I forgot you were using it in Gigaton League as well.
It didn't come up in that game, I believe, because I don't think any hazards was set when I used it.
Yeah. My thought is, I think it might be before, because it's like you immediately switch in, so that might hurt a little more. I'd actually think it'd be better if it healed you after you switched in, because like that I think would actually be better, because or after the stealth rock, so like if you took the stealth rock damage and then healed the full, because then as long as you're above 25% health, you're going to be fine.
Okay, so I did look it up for Healing Wish. It looks, because I believe they work the same way, it looks like the hazards are after. So it looks like you come in, heal to full, and then you'll take 25%.
Not surprised. That, I think, is a little bit worse in that regard, because after Belly Drum, if you're going for a second Belly Drum, you're at 25% HP.
But you do have ways to get rid of the rocks before you switch in
you have
2 spinners and 2 defoggers.
I will say these spinners especially, I think are pretty damn good, especially Bramblegast. I feel like Bramblegast is a really good spinner. Also with Infiltrator, like Wind Rider I think is like the more like broadcasted ability for this Pokemon. I think Infiltrator is a better ability for it actually, because
especially since it can't set up Wind Rider itself.
I think it does get Tailwind.
It doesn't.
Oh, it doesn't? Oh, wow. Huh. Yeah, never mind. That's weird. I guess it's more of that like defensive utility. I mean, I think Wind Rider it does give you those it's like a case by case basis, because like if you're in against like a team with like flying types and stuff and they have these mons like to really bring like Hurricane and stuff. Okay, let's bring Wind Rider. But otherwise, it might be better to bring Infiltrator just so you can get behind like substitutes and stuff like that. But no, I still really like this team, because I think this team does have the power to be really threatening. I actually had this team in my A tier. I had it in 6th place overall.
I was going to say, this is a team to me, it feels like probably low to mid A tier.
Yeah, no, I had it 2nd lowest in A tier.
Yeah, it's got a few flaws, but overall it is a very strong team.
I agree. I think if it had a better rock resist, I think, or just an additional one, this would be a very scary team. Rock and fire types, I think, are the big things to watch out for on this team, but other than that, I think it's in a really good spot. Moving on, we have... Oh, wait, that's a typo. That's awkward. That's a typo. But we have Bacon's team. So, Bacon's team is Chi-Yu, Jirachi, Hydrapple, Screamtail, Cloyster, Toxtricity, Ambipom, Hitmontop, Ninjask, and Sandslash. I want to talk about the first thing that I really like off the bat, and that is that defensive core that I see right there in the tier 1 and 2, which with Jirachi, Hydrapple, and Screamtail, that screams like a really solid Steel Fairy Dragon core. Like
yeah, it's a very good defensive core, because I mean, Jirachi's just base 100 across the board. Screamtail is 115, 99, 115, and then Hydrapple is 106, 110, only 80 SPDF, but it's got Regenerator as well.
Yeah, and it's a mod that does not mind running Assault Vest.
It does not. I've ran AV Apple quite a few times. It's very happy to run that move.
Yeah, no, I think that core, I think that's like the big highlight for me is this core. And then also we have, I think this team has some really good sweepers as well. Cloyster and Toxtricity are really good tier 3 sweepers, and Chi-Yu is the funny fish for a reason. Like, Beads of Ruin essentially gives it a base like 190 attack. Like this thing.
It is in fact a very funny fish.
Yeah. I will say, I think that this team does have some. I think also this team has some really nice utility. Screamtail is really a highlight for it. Screamtail is a great Pokemon.
You've got 3 spinners.
3 spinners. 2 of which are I think Hitmontop is one of the best spinners. Especially it's got with Intimidate. It's also like a really good like mixed wall, because it can either run like a physically defensive set, because it has like only 50 HP, but like 95, 110 are really good defenses, especially for a tier 4.
And you had Intimidate on top of that.
Exactly. But it's also like it doesn't mind running like vice versa, like Technician Assault Vest sets if it wants to be like a specially defensive wall. Because it can still get like rapid spin and fake out pressure, or even Mach Punch pressure with like those technician sets. Like it gets really good moves that are below base 68 damage, base 60 power. So it really doesn't
Yeah,
mind.
it gets triple axle.
Yeah, Bullet Punch and Mach Punch. Fake out. I think it gets Sucker Punch. It gets. I mean, that's not boosted, but like Rapid Spin, it becomes boosted. Like Bulldoze, I think is base 60, so like actually can do like damage with it. And like could lower your opponent's speed if you want to like Saki it and get your stuff in. Screamtail has wish support. Really good reflect dual screens user as well. Like this team has really good utility moves. Ninjask as well can provide some as well with like really fast baton passes if you're worried about like pursuit trapping.
Although you can't. Oh, I guess you'd have to run it. I forget it does get.
You're right.
Infiltrator.
Yeah, no, never mind.
You would basically have to infiltrator because you can't
Yeah, good point.
pass any of the speed
that.
boosts.
I will say so. That's what
Though
I'd
I think
say.
it's fine running Infiltrator most of the time, just because it's already got such a high speed.
Yeah, especially if you can pass that speed, and it's not really. So let's talk about what we don't like about this team, because that's I don't know if that's you have got more you want to add.
I mean, we've already mentioned the one problem I think, which is I just am not a fan of Ninjask, especially as a Z captain, because that mon really needs boots.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I'm surprised it doesn't get spikes as like a ninja Pokemon. I'm just realizing that now.
The other one for me is I'm not a huge fan of Terra Hitmontop, especially when you do have Toxtricity right there as well.
Yeah, so let me double check. I believe I was literally about to bring that up. I think not having Terra Toxtricity feels like a waste.
Or even Z Toxtricity if you wanted to, like, because if you want to keep Terra Ambipom, you drop the Hitmontop Terra, you drop the Ninjask Z. You do Z Toxtricity, and like, its Sludge Waves are gonna hurt. Its
and I don't
Boom Bursts are gonna really hurt.
I don't think we said the Terra types. It's normal Ghost Ice for Ambipom, and Hitmontop is Fighting Steel Water. I'm not the biggest on those. Like I get.
Yeah, so if you run Normalium Z on Toxtricity, it's gonna be a base 200 Boom Burst.
And that's
god
boosted. Oh no, it's not anymore. Never mind. But still, like Toxicity, I feel like underused. Yeah, Ninjask, it can't run its shoes, so it's like it's going to die to any Stealth Rocks. Hitmontop, I don't know. Like Hitmontop doesn't really need Terra.
No, it's
really
pretty happy to just be a fighting type.
I think the biggest issue for this team though is let's look at that those fire resists. Like I mean the ground, like 3 ground type Weakmon isn't bad. Like you have Hydra.
I was gonna say it is kind of 3. It is 3 of your main mons are ground weak.
Is,
with your tier 0, your tier 1, and probably your main tier 3 offensive mon.
Yeah.
Well, one of the two, because Cloister's also offensive.
Yeah, I will say, it's like I think another big thing is like a lot of those offensive mons, they do need setup in order to be like I think Hydrapple and Chiyu are the real like standout one. I mean even Ambipom doesn't really run setup. It runs like fake out and like U-turn and stuff. So not really, but it's like it's really good like fast like damage support if that makes sense. I liked that sound of like Z Toxtricity. I think that'd be a really good swap. My bigger issue with this team though, fire resists. Where are they?
Yeah. I was gonna say I actually would like to see, maybe instead of Ninjask, a second water type in tier 5.
Yeah, I agree. Because both your water and dragon type are neutral, and I think that actually really hurts this team.
Because Chiyu is not a real fire resist.
Yeah, you're not using. So you essentially have no fire resist because if you are using Chiyu to switch in defensively on fire resist, you are not using Chiyu properly. This Pokemon.
And granted, it does have 120 special defense, but it is only 55 HP.
Yeah.
It's not taking hits, so it virtually is just jeopardizing it entirely if you're using it like that.
Yeah, she is probably being used as I'm mostly now as a scarfed attacker, and I think it's really, really good as a scarfed attacker. I can't really see it being used for anything else. I think anything else would probably be not in a good position. I think as Scarf Attacker as well is probably one of the scariest Pokemon in the format for this season, and I think it is a really good pickup. I think those top tiers. Honestly, the thing I would also swap besides Ninjask, if you did want to keep Ninjask for some reason, which I don't think Bacon should, I wouldn't mind seeing Toxtricity or Cloyster, one of them be swapped for a more defensive tier 3. As I said, I think we think Fire Resist would be pretty good, and I think there are still some good ones like Araquanid, which would give you web support in tier 3. What else is there? I mean, honestly, Ninetales could run Flash Fire or Drought, and Chi-Yu and Sun sounds fucking terrifying in my eyes. Also,
yeah, that would actually be like probably one of the best changes this team could make is grabbing Ninetales.
it feels weird.
Yeah, there's also a Terra allowed Rhyperior still hanging out in tier.
Yeah, or Colossal.
True.
Or Colossal, yeah, Colossal is still hanging out right there as well.
Yeah, I give the team another Rapid Spinner. I mean, it already has some really good ones, but also I feel like Sandslash feels weird without Terra. Like, I know the slots were taken, but like I feel like it kind of doesn't mind. Like, I mean, I'm not sold on Sandslash. I don't know what it's bringing. I guess it has some defensive bulk and it has hard earthquakes.
I think it's there. It's got rocks. It can spin. It's got
spikes.
EQ.
Yeah.
It helps, I believe, on the defensive side because it's your.
Is that the only ground type? Yeah, that's the only ground type. And we do have. No, not really. I mean,
the electric weeks aren't that bad because you do have a Hydro Apple which quad resists, and Toxtricity which resists.
Yeah. I think so. I'm not really sold. I think the top tiers of this team are really good, but the bottom tiers, it kind of like falls off a cliff. Well, but like that's.
I wouldn't even say falls off a cliff because I like Ambipom Hitmontop.
I do as well, but I think the tier 5s and the tier 4s, not tier 4s, sorry, the tier 3s feel a little mismatched. Like 2 setup sweepers in tier 3 feels like a bit too much, Unless you plan to use Cloyster defensively, because it does get like spikes and rapid spin. But I'm not.
And it does have what? Is it 180 defense?
Yeah, it has 180 defense, but it has 50 HP and 45 SPDF, so I'm not really sold on it there either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, it feels like there's good ideas here, but some parts of it just feel like mismatched, and that's why I have this team rated really lowly. I have this team at 18.
I don't think it's that bad. Now, granted, I don't have like my full rankings here. I think it's probably a below average team, but I don't think it's that far below average. I'd probably put this. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's hard to gauge exactly where I'm going as we go along, but probably like high to mid C tier. Definitely worse than Andro's team.
I have this in D tier.
I would agree with like a high C tier placement because at least with this team, I see the potential in the top tier mons, and like that at least is like a saving grace to me.
Yeah, I don't think the mons that are outside of Ninjask, I don't think the mons that are like question marks are that bad. Like, I think Toxtricity not being a Z captain is a little mismatched, and I do agree that like another defensive mon would be pretty good there. But you do already have Screamtail, Hydrapple, Jirachi as defensive core.
Yeah. Okay. So I think we decided. Yeah. I think. Yeah, the team definitely has issues. But yeah, no, I think mid-C is a good placement for it. One thing I actually wanted to mention before we move on is I don't like the speed tiers on this team. There is a massive gap where you go from 115 and 111, 100. That's not the bad gap. The big gap is from 175. I really don't like that. I'd love like an 85 speed mon, I think, to fill that gap.
Yeah, I would like to see something in the like mid to high 80s up to mid to low 90s.
Yeah. And I think that'd be really beneficial for this team. Alright, moving on, we have Ben's team. Now, for Ben's team, we have Mega Mawile, Volcarona, Galarian Moltres. Did you just say wood?
What? No, I said oh boy.
thought you said wood to Mega Mawile. Okay. Mega Mawile, Volcarona, Galarian Moltres, Hisuian Zoroark, Galvantula, Quagsire, Flapple, Vileplume, Hakamo'o, and Kamala. Oh boy, I have issues with this team.
Oh, well, let's
Yeah.
start with some good things. There are mons I like on this team a lot.
Yes, I agree. I think so as well. I think some of the mons here are really good. Starters, that tier 1 and tier 0. Chef's Kiss, you have a physical carry and a special carry, and I think they match each other very well. I think the tier 3 is really good as well. Quagsire, I think, is actually a really solid defensive mon. Water Ground is a really good typing, and also can run Water, Absorb, or Unaware depending on the matchup. Your opponent has multiple potential setup sweepers. You bring Unaware. Really strong water types. Quagsire is being Water Absorb. Oh, before we move on, I think we said, Terra, Quagsire, Hakamo'o, and Zikamala. For the Terra types, Quagsire is Water, Ice, and Poison, and Hakamo'o is Dragon, Normal, and Dark. I think you also just have some really diverse carries. You do have, I think those tier 2s as well can both carry games and win. Even Galvantula and Flapple, dear God, that feels weird to say, I won't lie, can, be, late game potential threats. With those, compound
Yeah, absolutely. This team has a lot of threats on it.
D-Dance Flapple.
And I am Kamala's strongest soldier.
Yeah.
I think that mon is such a great utility mon.
I feel like Hakamo'o might be a good pickup as well, in all honesty, with 90-70 defenses? 55 HP, but 90-70 defense. And also, I think it does get Breaking Swipe to be able to kind of kneecap physical attackers and sweepers.
Yeah, and it's got 3 pretty good abilities. It's got Bulletproof for some matchups, or Soundproof for other matchups, or just Overcoat if you want to substitute it on any sort of hazard moves.
Yeah.
Or, not hazards,
Spore.
status.
It's mainly for Spore moves, I think, but yeah. Oh yeah, I think that team does have some diverse carries. My big issue comes from the hazard control on this team. Stealth. You're not running Stealth Rocks on Mega Mawile. We're all in agreement there, right? If Ben is not running Stealth Rocks on Mega Mawile.
You should not be running Stealth Rocks on Mega Mawile.
Yeah. No, I don't see it happening. So really, Quagsire is the only mon with hazards on this team. And then you have.
Not really. You have Sticky Web.
Original
Webs is real.
I meant damaging ones. I was about to get to the Sticky Webs. Sticky Webs, Galvantula, very good. But you do not have a defogger. Volcarona is not running defog.
Yes, that kind of forces you to run Kamala every week, which.
Yeah.
With that in mind, on the defogger point, I know we were up talking Hakamo just earlier, but I won't lie, I would kind of like to see Girder in its place.
I can agree with that. No, I don't disagree with that. I will say, though, I think on the terms of
because you already have a dragon type, so you don't need the second dragon.
I will say, a lot of this team doesn't really mind running boots. Galvantula.
Yeah, I think Galvantula is pretty much going to be on boots all the time.
If your Volcarona isn't running boots, I don't know what you're doing. Zoroark's not against it. Moltres isn't against it. This team could be Moto... and also, the only Pokemon that can't is Mega Mawile, because it does need to have its Mega Stone, but, it's not taking a lot of damage from hazards besides spikes. It's not getting poisoned. And it doesn't mind being
it's
slow.
immune to toxic spikes, and it's, I was gonna say, it's got what? It's got
no,
Sucker Punch,
is
though. It's fine. It's already slow.
It is running huge power Sucker Punch every single match. Ben, if you're listening, run huge power well, we can't choose huge power not because it is. Run Sucker Punch every match.
So,
but I love
I want to get to the... Yeah, and then the other major issue I have is the captains here.
Thank you. I have that marked down.
Don't think Quagsire needs to be Terra because it's already such a great defensive type.
I agree.
And I don't hate the Zikomala. A mon I would actually like to see here is potentially Terra Flapple.
I can agree with that. I will say, I can see why you keep Quagsire to give it better defensive typings. However, then my issue becomes the types that Ben has chosen. Water,
I don't hate poison. I don't hate the poison.
Either, but ice.
If you're going for a defensive mon,
you don't want
that is not the way to go.
I'd say that
Especially since I think this team already has a very big fire problem.
that's my other big note is look at how I think you have a few major share weaknesses, and share types as well. Like flying types will have a field day with this team. Fire types are really scary. Ice types are extremely scary.
Yeah, your only ice resists are Volcarona, which isn't wanting to switch in as a defensive mon, and Mega Mawile, which is also not wanting to switch in as a defensive mon.
No, those are those are what we're talking about as like your prime carries. I think also the team is a little bit on the slower side. I think it's over average of 74. You do have some bulkier Pokemon down there, but like I feel like it's a lower base speed. It comes.
And now it does have sticky webs. In
Yeah.
fact, there's a very good webber to kind of alleviate that.
I would
But
say
it's
this
now
is,
also
like,
trying to keep webs up when you don't have a. Oh, you do have a ghost type. You have Kasui and Zoroark.
yeah. Not a bulky ghost type, but it's a ghost type.
No. But you also like on types. You've got double normal, double grass, double dragon, double bug.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Ben's got a little bit too much overlapping, and frankly, I hate to say it because like I really do like parts of this team. This is my lowest rated team.
I'm with you there. I sort of like the top tiers are well picked, as you said, but I think this team also suffers from the problem where once you get into those lower tiers, it sort of starts not looking as good conceptually on paper.
So you see, the thing
That's
is,
how I feel. At least.
Flapple and Vileplume, I don't mind them on their own.
I just don't think they should both be on the same team.
Exactly.
Yes.
One or two of them, I think, would be really nice for this team. I think Vileplume, I'd keep Vileplume over Flapple, personally. And I would probably, I feel like I'd replace Flapple with a bulkier mon. Preferably a water type, actually. A water type that resists ice, I think, would do this team wonders.
So what? Flapple's what, tier 4? I was gonna say. Also, if you drop Takamoo for Girder, you could drop Flapple for Druddigan.
That is true. Yeah, no, I think that's a good bulky defensive mon. Gets rid of one of your fire weaknesses. Fairy types might be looking a little bit tough.
There's also, if you wanted a different grass type, there is Delmise, which is also a spinner, which would be great for this team.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
agree.
a ghost. It's a bulky ghost.
Yeah. I wouldn't mind getting rid of Zoroark though, honestly, for something even a little bit faster.
Yeah, and what's what, tier 2?
Yeah. So like,
I was also like, when I was making my own notes, I kind of thought Zoroark didn't really have a good mon to illusion into on this team.
Yes. I feel like you really want like something weak to fighting or like of. I think the type that Zoroark really wants is like a Bisharp or like a psychic type or a that they can disguise as. A Pokemon weak to fighting or ghost. So I think like Bisharp's a prime example of like, also especially because you can find like good angles for Bisharp as well. I know Bisharp did get taken, like spoiler for up ahead, but like I feel like it would like that's like a type of Pokemon that like 4 times weak to fighting. You know, it screams punch me, like. And then you go to punch it, and it's Zoroark. It's like, huh? Like that is what Zoroark excels with. Also, just potential mind games as well. It's like, oh wait, what if this isn't Zoroark and it is Bisharp or whatever Pokemon? And now I have that Pokemon killing me. Like it excels with Pokemon that can really play mind games with. I don't think that is on this team. I don't see one of those Pokemon on this team. And that definitely makes it feel a little bit weaker in my eyes. Yeah. No, I feel like this team, with those potential threats in Mega Mawile and Volcarona, would be S tier. With a few changes, a few better utility mons, a bit more defensive utility, better bulk. But right now, it feels weak. It kind of feels like Frost's team in some ways in Gigaton League. If you feel me,
Now, I mean, I don't know if I would agree with that, 'cause I do think this team could actually get a surprise win.
No, yeah, I agree.
I think like this is a team that if you mess up, this team could absolutely get a win. So I honestly like
Mhm.
I don't even know if this would be considered a D tier team, just because I think it does have that win opportunity still. It's definitely a flawed team, but there's enough surprise factor between like Moltres Scalar is very easy to get set up with. Volcarona very easy to get set up with. Mega Mawile doesn't even really need this setup. I can just come in and just clean games. Like this is a team that can still win games, I think.
Mhm.
So like I would probably put this bottom of C tier. I think it's definitely below Bacon's team, but I still think this team could win a game.
Okay, I can agree with that.
Yeah.
All right then. Moving on, we have our next team, which is Bushie's team. Bushie's team is Megalopony, Golden Go, Hydreigon, Moltres, Lycanroc Dusk, Ribombee, Claydol, Muck, Zebstrika, and Walrein, with Terras on Lycanroc, Zebstrika, and Z-Captain Walrein. The Terras on Lycanroc Dusk are Rock, Fighting, and Fairy, and Zebstrika is Electric, Water, and Ice, I believe. Let's talk about this team.
I love
scares
this
me.
team.
This is the best team we've seen so far. One of the best teams I think.
I love this team.
Oh, it's for sure.
Mhm.
So
A
let's
lot
talk.
excellent mods.
So first
Just
thing I want
across
to
the
talk
board.
about is the offensive synergy between your tier 1 and tier 0, Megalopony and Golden Go. Usually, Fighting Ghost is one of the best offensive duos of types. There's a reason Gengar always wins Focus Blast. There's a reason Marsh Shadow is banned. There's a reason Annihilate is so good. And that is because Fighting Ghost is only resisted both by one type combo, and that is normal Ghost. Except Megalopony is scrappy. So
Yes.
it doesn't even matter.
Kind of invalidates that.
Yeah.
And Megalopony is so fast and hits so hard. And Golden Go is like it's slower, but it hits about as hard, and it's fairly bulky too.
This is also a Webs team, which
It's a Webs team. I think Lycanroc Dusk probably should not have been tier 3, and at the very least should have been Terra banned. I think that mod is insane.
I agree. I think I think you have a lot of defensive and tanky mons. Claydol, Golden Go, Moltres, even to a regard.
I am a defensive Moltres defender. I think that mod is a great physically defensive tool.
I can agree.
With Flame Body, Roost, Defog, U-Turn, Flamethrower, you give it boots, and that's like you call it a day.
Yeah, I think you got some good hazard setters.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some bulky stealth rockers, some fast stealth rockers, a good toxic spiker, webs, a reliable spinner. Also, the speed tiers on this team, like, they line up so well.
Yeah, you've got like 135, then 124. You've got 4 things over 110, which is insane. And even then, you're dropping down to like 98, 90, 84. Your lowest is a 50.
No, it looks really good on paper. I hope it works well for Bushie. I think it's got some good pivot tools as well. Like none of those Pokemon don't dislike running like Volturn. Like Zebstrika likes running Volt Switch as part of its moveset. What don't I like with this
Even
team?
Claydol with Teleport.
Yeah. What don't I like with
There's
this team?
not much,
No,
honestly.
so I really have 2 criticisms. With both webs and toxic spikes on this team, it makes Defog not as good.
Yeah, so you would probably want like maybe a second spinner.
I agree. It feels like Claydol might become more required if you want to really be running your hazards. Which in that case then as well, you're bringing at least 2 to 3 Pokemon with hazards per battle. Can you get away with that? Maybe. I think this team especially can really punish it with some of your threats. And like those Toxic Spikes especially can make this team way harder to resist this team. Like resistance like Onslaught. My other big issue with this team, I don't like the captains. Well, I like and dislike. So I mean,
it's kind of what you have to do because, like, I think Lycanroc Dusk absolutely should be a Terra captain, and at that point, it's either you go for a tier 4 or both of your tier 5s, one of which has to be a Z.
Mm-hmm. My issue is I do not like the Z Walrein. I feel like that is just you didn't know. You wanted Terra Lycanroc. You like the sound of Terra Zebstrika. Let's go with Z Walrein. Because it has to be. But I feel like Walrein's not going to be really good as Z Abuser. I think the way, and with this team actually having a slight water weakness, the way I would fix that issue with this team and also fix that like wasted Terra Captain, I would swap the Z Captain to Lycanroc, and I would pick up in your tier 5 where you have your Terra Captain, I'd pick up Lumineon. Gives you a water immunity, gives you more pivot, gives you a defogger, a fast one at that. Gives you it also does not mind Terra, especially with like Terra Fairy. It's got Dazzling Gleam, Terra Flying is pretty good with it as well. I think it could actually not be a bad pickup for Bushie in place of Walrein. If Bushie wanted Walrein to be like a water resist.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that. I don't hate Walrein in tier 5 either. I guess you could run like theoretically you could do Z Blizzards and make it surprise kill something.
Could, but with base 95, I don't know if it really will.
I do get the Terra Lycanroc, because Terra on Lycanroc frees you up to run Band. Banded Terra Celerock is so strong with Tough Claws.
Yeah, I can get that. I can agree with that.
So I think Walrein just kind of like, in the current state, kind of has to be a Z Captain just because of what else is there.
Anyways, I have this is what rated as my second place team. This is the second best team in the league, in my opinion.
For now, absolutely. This is an S tier team. This is a team that kind of has to try or throw to lose.
I have this in the like upper echelons, S tier for sure. Probably could definitely make arguments for it being the best team in the league. Have it very highly rated. I dig it.
I would certainly agree.
Like this team. There's not even much to say about it because it's just you look at that team and you can go, oh, it's good.
Yeah. So I have it in I have it in middle of my S tier right now. I have it between two Pokemon in my top 3, or two teams in my top 3. No, I love this team. I think it's phenomenal. Very few notes. Again, I think just that water. I think a better like a water like a Storm Drain or Water Absorb Pokemon would serve this team so well.
It's funny you say Water Absorb because someone.
Yeah, Bushie was planning on drafting Lapras, but Lapras got stolen.
Wonder who did that.
Yeah.
I wonder.
Anyways, I think we're all in agreement on S tier. Moving on to Ellie's team. So, for Ellie's team, we have Mega Gallade, Tyranitar, Rotom Heat, Vaporeon, Mimikyu, Roserade, Braviary, Duraludon, Glaceon, and Berserker. And Ellie has not declared their Terra Captains yet. Ellie, if you're listening, though, I want to say off the bat, one of my first pros I really like with this team, I think you have excellent options for your captains that I can see right now in your lower tiers.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Z Mimikyu is great, or even if you want to go for like all of your lower tiers, Z Glaceon is great, Z Duraludon is great.
So I was thinking
Terra Duraludon, Terra Glaceon.
I was thinking Terra those.
Or even do like Z Braviary.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I think Z Braviary sounds really good because you think Supersonic Sky Strike looks really disgusting from it. Breakneck's Blitz can hit like most things for neutral. And
I was gonna say I think it gets superpower, right? So you can run superpower without the stat
and
drop.
And 123 attack, like it can fucking hurt. I think Braviary is. I think also this team has some really strong immediate threats. Mega Gallade is a really good Pokemon. Fun fact. Like, it's really good. Yeah, but I think like you have a lot of like heavy hitters like T-Tar, Mega Gallade, Braviary, Roserade. They can all hit like nukes. Even Duraludon to some regard with like stab moves or body press.
Even Berserker with Tough Claws, it's pretty slow. It's also got Steelworker, right? Or what's Steely Spirit.
It's
but like Tough Claws, give it Band, and just click Iron Head on it because you're like slow already. Like that can be just surprise kill something.
Also, just like it's a slow pivot move. But you know, if I were to suggest Terra Captains for Ellie, I would say Z Braviary, Terra like Steel fighting Fairy Duraludon, Terra like Ice, Water, Flying Glaceon. And I think you're in such a good spot.
Just additionally on pros as well, Rotom and Vaporeon both just look like really nice supportive mons on this team in general.
Oh my god, you're right. Like, yeah, thanks for bringing that up. No, I think they're excellent choices for tier 2s for, like, utility mons. So Vaporeon gives your, like, water weak Pokemon, which there's a couple of on this team, with, like, T-Tar and Rotom. Actually, I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Gives you that water absorb mon, which can be really good for pivoting between the two. It gets wish support, it gets wish flip turn, so you can you can wish and then flip turn slowly into one of your allies to heal them up. I think you have some pretty good rockers, especially like Duraludon. Your spike Roserade does not mind like running spikes, and I would say both Rotom Heat and Braviary don't mind running Defog on their moveset.
Yeah, it's like you only have 2 Defoggers, but Rotom Heat is one that like pretty much is going to be running it anyway. It's always going to be running like it's going to be running Boots 90% of the time, and then Prick Choice Scarf the other 10%.
It's very easy to fit Defog on its movesets. Like, it's
yeah.
not like you'll be struggling to find out, oh, can I fit Defog? Same with Braviary. Braviary is happy to run, like, stab move, U-turn, Roost Defog. Like, that sounds like a really good moveset for Braviary. No, I really like this team. I think you have some really good offensive mons. I think you have some really strong threats. On to the issues. It's slow. So it's slow, but not slow, if that makes sense. It's lacking speed.
It's one of the it's another team that caps at around 110, but unlike the other teams that cap around there, it doesn't have any sort of Slush Rush, Swift Swim, Sandstream, or Sand Rush. It doesn't have web support.
Yeah, it doesn't get Tailwind.
I don't even think I don't know.
Not real.
I was gonna say that's a move Braviary might struggle to fit.
No, I agree. I think it'd be really bad. No, I think you have some really good like slower bulky mons. Like it does. I think it'd be really easy to speed creep this team. I feel like though, like with the mons that have, it doesn't. Like they do all have decent bulk as well, though. That's the other thing.
Yeah. Also, it's really so even your fastest mon, because it's a mega, you can't run Scarf on it. So you can always outspeed it. Mm-hmm. You can always know exactly what speed it'll be at.
Yeah, and I think that's absolutely weakness for this team. My other.
Now, granted, it does get agility, but if it gets a chance to collect agility, which honestly it probably does get a fairly good shot at collecting that move with.
Yeah, I just ran that today.
Yeah.
No, I think it's really easy to find it, and like it doesn't even need like the offense boost because 165, it's going to be in a good spot. Also, I think it's just kind of fighting weak. You have 4 fighting weak Pokemon. Now we did suggest 2 of those to be Terras, and
you do have
a Ghost and a Resist to resist. I feel like that Ghost.
You got a Poison type, a Psychic type, and a Ghost type. So it's like
that Ghost type is a Fairy type that can immediately threaten fighters. It's like ground resistance as well, but you have 2 immunities and I think they're pretty good immunities as well. Like they're Pokemon that you don't mind bringing. My biggest issue with this team though is actually the tier 1, T-Tar. I think T-Tar is a really good Pokemon if you're running a sand team, which this team is very much not.
Yeah. So I'd like to see something probably faster because T-Tar is the second slowest mon on this team.
Mm-hmm. So I was actually my suggestion for it. So if I could see keeping a like a dark type, I think would be pretty good for this team actually.
Yeah, I mean if you wanted to keep like a dark ground or rock type, there's Ting-Lu right there. There's Hisui and Samurott.
And that doesn't mind running Scarf.
There's Hoopa and Bound, but I think that's kind of a fraud mod, especially with only 80 speed. What else is there in tier 1 dark?
Nice on this team, I won't lie.
I was gonna say there's a Weavile which fixes your speed
we're
issue.
Talking about Ting-Lu here after all.
Weavile,
add Weavile on this
speed issue,
yeah, get you up to 125.
Let's see how the team looks if I replace it with Weavile. Oh, but don't want to spoil guys' team. Next.
I think the one big concern with Weavile going on there is that feels even worse from like a fighting weak perspective.
It technically keeps it the same because Rock Dark is also quite weak to fighting.
It does give you an extra rock fire weakness now. Let me see it with Ting-Lu. So I guess we're the ground weakness. Either way, you pick up a slight fire weakness. I like Ting Lu as well because this team feels like it's lacking a ground type.
Oh yeah, this team does not have a ground type.
Yeah, that's why I really like Ting Lu, actually.
It doesn't fix the speed issue, of course, but I think at least
No.
then you have something really bulky for like phasing and stuff.
Exactly.
However, the one thing I don't like picking up Ting Lu without a spinner, because Ting Lu loves clicking hazards, and your only removal is defog.
That is true.
Mhm.
Yeah, good point.
Like, it feels really silly to pick up a Ting Lu when you don't have a reliable mon to click rapid spin with.
I will say, in spite of the issues I have with this team, I kind of like it.
I was gonna say, I do like this team. I think this team is, like, very solid.
Yeah. So I think this is more speaking around the quality of the teams in this season of JDL. I had this team in 14th. Not that and that's not me like disliking it. That is just me liking the other teams more. I had it like higher, upper half of C tier. Could even be like a low B in my eyes.
I was gonna say, I was feeling B tier for this team. I was feeling like, I mean, it also depends on where the captain spots go.
Yeah. I think if it's captains that like we said, it could be like mid B tier.
Yeah, I feel like this team is just on the borderline of B tier at this point. It's like in between B and C for me.
Yeah. So I think for now, lower half of B tier sound good.
I was gonna say, I had it probably like middle to slightly upper B, but I think you both had it like mid to low C. So like or mid to low B. So I'm fine with like low B for it. Alright, so it sounds like the middle spot is like low B, pretty much, is where we're all kind of feeling.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair placement for it. So, moving on. We actually have a team that I have very close to Ellie's team, which is Guy's team. Has Guy declared their captains yet? No, they've not. Unless they've done it while we're recording. They've not. So.
Because I have not seen any.
Yeah. So Guy's team is Mega Manicham, Kyurem, Amoongus, Starmie, Bisharp, Togekiss, Licky Licky, Runerigus, Pyroar, and Rotom. First thing that comes off to my mind as the pros, I think you have some really good offensive threats.
I was gonna say, this team basically has 2 tier zeros, I feel.
Yes, I agree. Kyurem is excellent. I think really, really strong, especially since unlike Kyurem Black,
it
is
is
restricted. Mega
completely unrestricted. Kyurem
yes,
is basically a second tier zero on this team.
I will say
it basically just feels like a tier 1 version of Excalibur right now.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. It's a little. I think it's actually like a little. I have to compare. I do like direct stat compare. I think it's around the same level. Give me 1 second. I'm gonna pull up their stats right now. So Bax has like has higher attack, but lower everything else.
And Kyurem also has the benefit of being able to run special as well.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's
got 130 special attack, so it can absolutely just surprise you by being the team's main special threat.
Yeah, so I think I will say I think you have like 2 underrated special attackers on this team in the form of Starmie and Togekiss. Also, Bisharp can like do a lot of damage.
Yeah, so Starmie, it doesn't look that threatening with only 100 special attack, but it's also like you've got Analytic, which is it doesn't look that great because it's 115 speed. You do, because it would if you switch out, Analytic goes after, so you deal extra damage whatever comes in.
I will say as well, Starmie likes running Life Orb as well because it does have reliable recovery with Recover. It has such a good like coverage move pool. It gets obviously it has its Stab, Water, Psychic. It gets Power, Meteor Beam. It gets Thunder.
And it gets Bolt Beam.
It gets Rapid Spin as well, so it can become even faster.
And I think it likes running Rapid Spin.
It does,
truthfully,
yeah. It liked running Rapid Spin before Rapid Spin gave us Speed Boost.
Yeah, it is like when you say Rapid Spin, it is probably like the most iconic, like original Rapid Spinner.
I think you have a really good Fairy Skill Dragon Core with Kyurem, Togekiss, Bisharp.
Yeah, I actually really like Togekiss Bisharp, just like as a little duo. Because one, I mean, EVI Bishop is so defensive, and there's a lot of webs, so you can run Defiant to punish webs or
Yeah.
Defog.
I will say, I think my issues with the team or not issues. Sorry, I was also saying you have really good defensive options. Like Togekiss is a really good special wall. Runerigus is a good physical wall. Amogus can be either. It's been really hard to deal with. Bisharp can be really physically defensive. Oops, excuse me.
Licky is pretty bulky as well.
Yeah, 110, 99, 99. And it can definitely paralyze one of your carries if you get unlucky and if you like misplay. No, there's some stuff I really like here, but now onto the cons. First off, I think it's a pretty slow team overall. 115 it caps out at, and it just goes down from there.
You do have a 106. Kyurem does have Scale Shot and Dragon Dance as options to boost itself.
I agree. I think those are really good on it. That's actually where part of my issue with Kyurem. I think one of the benefits we're just talking about is Kyurem can be run physical or special. But if for speed you need to run Dance or Scale Shot,
physical.
Exactly. Because of that, you might have to force it into physical sets to make it get the most value out of that, and that I think actually hurts the team in a way because now it's like, oh yeah, I need that speed. Okay, no problem. We have to run. Well, I'll run Kyurem, like Scale Shot or Dance Kyurem. It's like, but if you do that, you're probably running physical Kyurem. Like, I don't think you would run.
I do agree that is a slight issue with Kyurem here, but I also think the team offsets that because it already has some decent enough special attackers on it.
That's true. Yeah, I agree. I think if you had a bit more speed or like web support, I don't think it'd be as much an issue. But that does not exist on this team. Which actually, speaking of webs, hazards. Where are they?
Yeah, it's basic. I mean, Bishop can run Stealth Rocks, and Runerigus is pretty much always going to be running Stealth Rock.
But that's it. You have rocks on those two and Spikes on Runerigus. But that's where the hazards end. Nothing beyond those. And I think that kind of hurts. As I was saying, I'd love like a Sticky Websmon. I will say, though, with how few hazards you're running, I think having only one Rapid Spinner isn't as much an issue because you have a really good Rapid Spinner, and I think Togekiss doesn't mind running it, but in that case it might hurt Togekiss' like offensive prowess. Rotom feels like a fake Pokemon, I won't lie.
Yeah. So I want to go back to the positives here, because there's a Mon with an ability here that you have drafted a Pokemon that is significantly worse than this Pokemon for the same reason.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Let's talk about Licky for a real second. Cloud9. I'm not going to spoil too much, but I was doing the math. We currently have 7 teams that have weather setters on them. Licky might be able to get value.
It's also just a really good... So, do we want to talk about our captains for this team, what we would pick?
I pick Bisharp as a Terra captain.
I like Bisharp. I also do really like Terra Licky.
Gets it out into a real defensive typing.
Yeah, get into a real defensive type there. You could, I guess, do Z Pyroar if you really wanted to.
That's the thing. I think
Pyroar. This is a team that doesn't really have a Mon that likes being a Z captain.
You can't make Bisharp is not a good Z captain because then it can't run Eviolite.
Yeah. Togekiss doesn't want to run it.
Togekiss likes having shoes. Rotom we said is a fake Mon. I feel like that makes it basically Pyroar.
Yeah, I mean you run like I guess Z Fire Blast or Z Boom or Z Hyper Voice on Pyroar, and you're like.
Yeah, like that would be it. I feel, and maybe that's why Guy hasn't declared a captain yet, because they're trying to figure out what they want to draft for it. But I think your options are kind of slim pickings for your Z. But yeah, no, and one thing I don't like this team. Can we talk about the type overlap?
Yeah, 2 ghost types alone was like one of my main gripes with this. Like, we brought up Rotom being sort of like a fake Mon. I think that is like the biggest thing that I would change on this team is just moving Rotom from it.
2 ghosts, 2 psychics, and 2 normal types.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm like those especially like those 3. I think of those 3, there's only one type you would be like fine. Like it's like it's not it's fine. We gotta overlap with, and that's ghost. I think the psychic mons are 2 very different Pokemon, so it's kind of fine, but I'm not big on it per se. I will say I think
No, but you kind of need both those ones.
Yeah, I think we've kind of
Yeah.
overlooked Mega Metacham so far talking about this team. I think this thing could be
Yeah,
disgusting.
that was one of my biggest pros of the entire team, is that I think Mega Metacham is potentially going to steal games at some point.
Oh, 100%. I think people are not expecting. Keep in mind, it has 100 attack, I think. Yeah.
And something that I think people have not maybe realized, this thing gets Trailblaze now.
Oh.
Wait, it does?
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Oh my god, it does. I think the issue though is like, what do you run if you're not running Trailblaze, or like, what do you not run in place of Trailblaze? Like, usually it wants to run Stab. It likes to run Fake Out. Usually, I guess Fake Out is what you would drop. Ice Punch as well for coverage, but then also like Bullet Punch. It doesn't mind. It likes to run as well.
I was gonna say, you don't really need Bullet Punch as badly if you're running Trailblaze to boost your speed.
Yeah. Well, that's true.
I mean, you're running 4 attacks anyway. This is just, it gives you an attack that actually is like a boost to you.
Yeah. No, I can agree with that. I'm just we'll see what it can do. But yeah, no, I think this team. I'm not against it, but I feel like it is lacking some things. I had this right below Ellie's team.
I was gonna say, I'm debating right below or right above, because like, as we said, this team does quite literally have 2 tier zeros, which like makes it really hard to feel like to rate it that low. With when you have Kyurem and Mega Metacham, those are like very good mons.
Yeah, like when I was like comparing the two on my own notes, I pretty much had to summarize in my own head that I think this team has a more blatant win con compared to Ellie's, so I was sort of more keen on putting it above Ellie myself.
I can agree with that. So we want right above Ellie, low B tier.
Yeah, like basically right above. I think they're very close teams. I think they're both teams with like minor flaws that haven't declared their captains yet.
Yeah, I'm a little more hesitant about what this team will make for captains. And that's my biggest issue concern as well. This team, like I feel like with Ellie, there's like I guess like I don't want to say like the optimal choice, but like
But there's a lot of optimal choices with Ellie's team.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even like you can
the opinion I have. There's a lot of great mons to captains
you can even
here.
make Terra or Z Berserker.
Yeah.
Like, Ellie has plenty of options. Like even like her tier 3s are pretty good with Terra. I believe that's covered guys' team. On to Hannah's team. Hannah's team is Great Tusk, Walking Wake, Hatterene, Torkoal, Typhlosion Sui, Venusaur, Shiftry, Mega Steelix, Murkrow, and Vulpix. With Terra, Venusaur, Poison, Rock, and Fire, and Z-Captain Shiftry. So this is a Sun
This
team.
is the Sun team of all time.
This is, like, important to note. I believe Hannah said she had multiple of her plans for tier 3s taken. I think she was discussing the Kasui and Lilligant, Sandy Shocks, and Heliolisk. That's it. That's right. All 3 got stolen from her. I will say I think Venusaur is...
Now, granted, I think Terra Venusaur is an excellent tier 3 anyway.
I will say. I agree. We'll get back to that in a little bit, though. So the first thing is you have a very strong Sun core. You have multiple strong abusers in Wake, and Venusaur are like the highlight ones. Shiftry and Typhlosion are the second ones. Melvin is really good in Sun, but I would not call him an abuser, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like he kind of doesn't require Sun to function.
Yeah. And I think you have some really good defensive walls with like Melvin, Mega Steelix, Torkoal, and even Hatterene on the special side.
I was gonna say Hatterene is actually a fantastic Sunmon because of Magic Bounce. I used Hatterene on a Sun team to great effect because you could just bounce Stealth Rocks, and that's great when your team has 3 fire types.
Yeah, I was gonna say one of the biggest issues with like running Sun is like you want to do a lot of switching, which makes rocks really strong against you, especially when you're running like probably a choice item on Wake. Can make them really tough. So Hatterene being able to deny those stealth rocks can actually be really, really good. I'm less sold on Mega Steelix, I will say. Also, like speaking of Hatterene, I think you have some incredible utility mods. Torkoal, phenomenal rock setter, Will-O-Wisp, Beyond. It's got rapid spin, body press. It can even hit hard with like fire moves and Sun. Solar Beam as well, doesn't mind running. I think I'm calling it now. Hannah's going to run at least 1 week where she runs as quote unquote physical sweeper with Shell Smash. Shiftry is interesting as you have a choice. Also, tier 5 Murkrow, it's really not fit for any higher tier, but like it is such a steal. It is so good, especially with like Prankster.
It's one of those. Yeah, I was gonna say it's basically your second Sunsetter.
Which,
even though you do technically have a third Sunsetter, but that's not a real.
So
I don't think you're ever bringing Vulpix, to be honest.
I will say, onto the cons, that Vulpix feels more like a mascot, if anything. I think there could be niche situations where you bring Vulpix, but I feel like if you're bringing Vulpix, it might even be for like Flash Fire over Drought, because every sunsetting situation, I feel like Torkoal is just way better. Like, one of Torkoal's big advantages with setting weather is actually its speed, or should I say, its lack of speed, because slower Pokemon set the weather. And so, Torkoal essentially being the slowest weather setter always means you will get your sun up when Torkoal enters the field.
You actually know what I would like to see on this team instead of Vulpix?
What?
I would like to steal something from your Sun team, and I would like to see Electric on this team.
Oh, interesting, interesting.
Because your only fly resist is Mega Steelix.
You're right. That's actually a really good thing to point out, especially when you have 3 flying weak Pokemon.
And that would also give you that would also remove your ground, your slight ground weakness, as it would change one of your ground weaknesses into a ground immunity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And the team doesn't have any electric types at all right now.
So I guess let's talk about the issues with this team. You have a lot of shared weaknesses. 5 Pokemon weak to water. You do have Wake, and Wake, Venusaur, and Shiftry, which all resist it. You have 4 Pokemon weak to ground with 1 immunity, 1 resist. 3 weak to flying with 1 resist. 4 weak to rock with 2 4x resists. But like a lot of those shared weaknesses. My other issue comes with the Terra. I understand their offensive Terra choices, but I don't dig the Terra Rock on Venusaur.
I would much prefer to see like a Terra Steel, not gonna lie. I think that covers it better in certain circumstances.
Terra Steel, Terra Water even. If you keep think, let's look at them. Poison, Rock, Fire, all of them are ground weak. I know Venusaur gets Grass Boost, which ground types don't want to take, but you're basically you're becoming ground weak. You become weak to Earthquake, which I don't really like, especially when your ground resist immunity are Murkrow and Shiftry. I also think, like, without Sun, this team is even slower than some of the other teams we're talking about. We want to talk about, like, Ellie's team being slow at 110. This team kept at 109 without Sun.
Yes, that was also a flaw I saw with this
But
team.
Typhlosion is Sui is probably going to be running Scarf.
That is true, yes.
A lot of the time. Murkrow has Prankster, which helps with the speed. Shiftry gets Tailwind, I believe.
It does.
Yes.
I'm not.
And it's also like got wind. It's got its own Wind Rider.
Yeah, I'm not the most.
Yeah, I will say the Shiftry is odd on a team where you already have a Dark type and a Grass type.
A Grass type Chlorophyll on that. Like I guess it's more physical than Venusaur, like stronger physically, but like I don't buy it. I'm not bought on it yet.
Okay, this team is still great. This is still such a
big
strong.
on it being the Z captain. Because I won't lie, I feel like Shiftry benefits more from Terra, and of course you can't Terra it in this circumstance. But I don't see the value in Z moves on it.
I mean, I'm thinking here. It doesn't really have any items. It loves running.
No, that's true.
So I guess it gives it like that one time like because it's only gotten 190, so it can give that one big surprise attack.
Does Shift get Solar Blade?
So I think it's it might actually. Let me check. I've got it pulled up here. It does. It gets Solar Blade.
Okay, so that
Solar
It's got a lot of
Blade, yeah, it
coverage
does.
moves. You can run a ton of different coverage options on it with.
I will say, the other big issue with this team, I think it kind of struggles in the special attackers, because your best special defensive mon, and the only one with with real reliable special bulk is like it's like Venusaur and Hattery.
Yeah, this team is not the. I mean, Mega Steelix does have 95 as well.
I've said before, I'm not really sold on Mega Steelix as a Pokemon. I think it's. I'm not big on it. I won't lie. Yes, 95 Spadef, but if you're out of Sun, it dies to a water move. Especially because
I also think like that is the other notable flaw with this team is I think out of like a lot of the weather teams in the league, I think this is the team that is most dependent on having its weather up at all times.
I can agree with that. I actually very much agree with that. I will say though, when this team is in weather, it is contending for best team in the league.
Now, see, the one thing I do kind of struggle with that is I have ran a very similar team in a different league, and in that league, my Sunsetter was Ninetales, and I brought it 4 out of 11 games.
Oh wow!
Fair
Team where
enough.
I had Walking Wake, I had Murkrow, I had Mega Venusaur, I had Hatterene, I had a Sunsetter, and I just didn't run Sun that often, and I ended up, I believe I went 8-3 in that league,
Okay.
and that was without Sun. So, like, their Bonsai can still function without the Sun.
Mm-hmm.
I keep on this is regular Venusaur, not Mega Venusaur.
Yeah, which that one does rely more on the Sun, I will admit, but it's still, like, very good.
No, I agree. I think it is really, like, again, I think in Sun, this is one of the most threatening teams in the league. Like, I still have, with my Christmas with this team, I still have it in S tier. I have this third overall, because I think
I would say
really, really good. Is it dependent?
I would agree with that. I think it's not as good as Bushie's team, but it's also right there. Because I do think this team can actually, like, work out of Sun better than you, like, would initially expect.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. As someone who's using Wake right now in a league and has been using out Sun, it still is pretty damn good. Not as good, but pretty damn good.
Like, I ran Specs Walking Wake and just clicked Draco Meteor into a lot of things.
No, yeah, it's so good at doing that. No, I think this team is absolutely going to be a tough team to beat, especially with 2 super reliable weather setters with Murkrow and Torkoal. Again, I think Vulpix is fake. I think we're all in agreement there. Vulpix is fake. That's not a real Pokemon on this team. If anything, it is a mascot. Hannah didn't know what to pick up for a for a second tier 5. And was like, let's get a Vulpix, another Sunsetter. We can have a second Droutmon. It's awesome. It's Vulpix. It's like,
Great. Vulpix is very friendly, so
yeah, it's a mascot.
Yeah.
It feels.
Before we go on to Jommy's team, Jommy did just declare their captains.
Oh, that's perfect.
Boy.
All right, let me take a look.
I've got it pulled up here if you want to just put it on there. It is Z Mischievous.
Give me 1 second. Thank you.
Flygon is Terra Ground Steel Fire. And Dunsparce is Terra Normal Ghost Steel.
So, alright. Thank you. So let's onto the rest of the team then. It's Melmetal, Mega Venusaur, Melodic, Raikou, Flygon, Talonflame, Aromatisse, Skuntank, Dunsparce, and Mischievous. Let's talk about this team then. I'm iffy on it. I won't lie. I have this.
I
team.
like how bulky it is.
Yes.
Just right off the bat, this is an incredibly bulky team.
That is my first pro for this team. Mega Venusaur, Melmetal, Melodic, and your Eviolite Mons are insanely bulky. Aromatisse is also like a punching bag. It's full of health.
Yeah, truth be told, this is very much a me type of team. I like my bulky offense teams.
This is the bulky offense, kind of stally, but like I feel like it's kind of stally with like Leech Seed, Venusaur, and like the Toxic Melodic. But in that regard, I feel like it kind of crumbles to like real stall, if that makes sense. Those Terra captains, like those Terra types as well, those actually kind of scream defensive, less slightly more than offense. Especially, well, obviously, the Dunsparce ones, but like even the Flygon ones, like that Steel is a defensive one.
Yeah, I will actually, instead of Terra, what was it? Was it Terra Fire is the last one?
Yes.
I guess it helps with the flying, but you already have that. I'm honestly wouldn't hate even seeing Terra Bug first impression for an extra like offensive boost.
Yeah, so really, I think this is the first thing we've seen that is green, like full green, except for flying, which is, or for ground, which is like 3 and 3 immunities, 3 weaknesses. I also think you have such good pivoting ones. You have a lot of really good U-turners. You have Flip Turn Melodic.
Oh yeah.
Volt Switch Raikou.
Flip Turn Melodic. You got 2 mons that are going to be running U-turn pretty much all the time. You got Raikou, which can definitely click Volt Switch. It does like running Calm Mind, so sometimes it kind of feels like it doesn't want to click it, but it does have the option to. I like Talonflame a lot. I am a big Talonflame fan.
Yeah, I will say, I think the big strength of this team is that you have some really heavy hitters like Melmetal, Magnesis, and Raikou. They can really hit hard with like a Scarf set or a Spec set. I mean, or Band. They will like can absolutely ruin the thing. But like I feel like that is to me where the pros end. It's very bulky, can hit hard. That's it.
So I do want to talk more on the pro side because I do have a few more. I like the Wish Pass options on this team. I think Talonflame really likes getting wished into for more Gale Wings activations. Melmetal is pretty slow, so typically it does get chipped while trying to kill stuff, so being able to wish back into it is really nice with Aromatisse. I'm just a fan of... actually, I like Aromatisse Skuntank. It's a core I've picked up in GTL recently. So I think that's like a fairly solid low-tier defensive core. Milotic's a very annoying mon.
Yeah.
Raikou isn't immediately like offensive, but it's got like a decent enough stats across the board where it can come in, live a hit, click Calm Mind, and then kill something.
I'd say most neutral hits Raikou can survive.
Yeah, Terra Dunsparce is such an annoying Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot of stuff I really like on this team. Actually, this is the team I think I would play and I would like playing. This is a me type of team.
I guess I think my big issue with this team is like both cores, like the Firewater Grass and Fairy Steel Dragon cores, they both feel like they're missing something, but they don't feel like the most reliable of cores. In that regard, is like the Fairy Steel Dragon one is like your Fairy type is Aromatisse, which with its recovery being Wish. The issue with like Wish is like it can be really easy to play around, like Wish passing, or even like if you're using Wish's recovery, it can be kind of easy to play around and like get the correct predictions for like what your opponent's gonna do, and then you can be it can be incredibly punished basically, because
now it does also get Draining Kiss, which I mean is kind of recovery.
No, it's not with. Oh, that's 99 attack. Okay, maybe. Depends on the Pokemon it's kissing.
It could also be like it's got Nasty Plot, so you can come into it thinking it's a Wish Passer, and then it can click, just click that.
Yeah, I guess then the issue becomes it's fucking slow as hell.
Yeah.
I like
this team. Like overall, it's got like fair speeds because I mean you got 126, 115, then 100, and then it drops. You got 4 things in between 80 and 85, which I don't love because it makes it really easy to speed creep that whole like group of them.
I will say, you are big on Talonflame. I'm not big on Talonflame. I feel like Talonflame struggles here, especially when you don't have, like, with that Firewater Grass core, nothing else is, like, immediately offensive and threatening, and that's usually what you want your Fire type to be in that core, is to be, like, the offensive one.
I mean, I think it still can be. Like, yeah, it's only got 81 attack, but, like, a Flare Blitz from this thing still really hurts.
I long for the days of old.
I do agree with that. I sort of like also think Talonflame might have benefited a bit more from Terra than Flygon in this case.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I am. Also, wait, hang on, is that Dunsparce is tier 4, right?
No, Dunsparce is tier 5.
Dunsparce is Aromatisse is tier 4.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, Terra Dunsparce in tier 5 is nasty. The one thing, like, flaw-wise, I don't like Z Mischievous, because like, I feel like you want to run Eviolite on that a lot of the time.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's just
Actually, I
kind of
will say
like,
that's another
it's
thing.
something where it's like, you kind of just have to do it, because
This
it's your
team kind
only
of feels
option.
weak to knock off. Like, Melodic doesn't want to lose its leftovers. Dunsparce really doesn't
Talonflame
lose.
doesn't want to lose its boots.
Yeah.
Mischievous, and I mean, Venusaur obviously can't get knocked off, but like Dunsparce and Mischievous don't want to lose their.
They're eat like stone.
Mm-hmm.
No, like it's. Yeah, that's. Like this team more than others, I really feel that with. I think something this team can do really well, but like nothing really like I guess like highlights to me of like really flashy stand out. Like that's the usual thing with bulky offense, but like it'll come down to like you're trading hits with your opponents. If your opponent can find a way to outtrade you, it could make your games a miserable experience, really hard to climb back from.
Just something that I'm a little curious about because we brought up the potential speed creepingness. Does it have a viable Trick Room user?
So your two Trick Room
I
centers are, I
believe,
believe, Aromatisse and Mischievous.
yeah, which are both mons that like can absolutely run it. Like I actually have a Trick Room Mischievous like on cartridge.
I feel like Aromatisse is a bit more than Mischievous, especially just because of how frail Mischievous is. It's what? 85, 60, 60, 85. Like, it's going to die to a knockoff.
Yeah, I feel like Aromatisse also does struggle to fit Trick Room on more than Mischievous does, because you want to run Wish, you want to run Protect, you want to run Toxic, and then like Moonblast.
So in the case of, in that case, you're probably giving up Protect. Or not Protect, Toxic.
Yeah. Yeah. Which, I mean, I guess with this team, that's fine, because you have Skunting and Melodic, which are both, like, you got Toxic Spikes, and Melodic loves clicking Toxic. And even Mega Venusaur likes clicking Toxic.
Yeah, I feel like a Poison type
So I guess this team doesn't need...
A Poison type can absolutely ruin, like, how this team wants to function, because your best, like, switch-in is going to be, like, Melmetal for Earthquake, and that's kind of predictable, I feel.
And you do have a Flygon with Levitate as well.
That's true.
And there is the fact that
Venusaur
can get away with running Earth Power still as a Mega.
That is true. That is true. That's absolutely fair. I think this team will just I think this team it's going to become a question of can it trade with opponents well enough. If it can't, it's going to struggle. In that regard,
Yeah.
I have this team middle of B tier.
Oh, interesting. I was gonna say I think I would. I was gonna say it's definitely B tier. I'm just debating on where it goes in comparison to Guy and Ellie.
I have it above both of them.
Okay. I was gonna say I'm fine. I'm fine putting it there. It's definitely a B tier team, and I was definitely the one probably hyping up this team the most. So
Yeah.
I am pretty happy to put it like
I think this is like
mid to top B.
the biggest. I think this is the team that I had as my biggest what if because the captains weren't announced yet.
Now that we have them, I'm kind
now
of...
that we have them, I think putting high B is like reasonable.
Okay, so I'll put a space between Guy and Jommy. So there's like as if there'll be a team between them because I think there will be, for sure. Moving on then.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. We have my team. All right. So here we have my team, which is Dragapult, Kartana, Incineroar, Sylveon, Mega Pidgeot, Seismitoad, Toxicroak, Fortress, Golduck, and Rotom Frost. Seismitoad is our Z captain, and Toxicroak is our Terra captain with Poison, Dark, and Fire as its stabs, or Terras. Now, I'm going to shut up here. I'm going to let you guys talk about what you like or dislike about this team. I'm going to then go on the defensive or like clarify things. Yeah, that's basically what's going to work here.
Oh, I don't think there's anything positive to say about this team. I think this team is just downright atrocious.
Yeah, this is really terrible. I can't believe you made this, Julia.
No, I mean this is a good team. Like Dragapult is a fantastic draft mon. I feel like I know you've been a big fan of Mega Pidgeot. I feel like Mega Pidgeot is a little bit on fraud watch just because it can't run boots.
I can agree with that. However, it's a really good rooster as well.
Like I know it does like running Roost, but it's defensively it's only 83, 80, 80. So like, how often does it get a chance to click Roost?
Yeah,
So we'll see.
I
Like
will
it can definitely
say-
kill things, but it's like mechas that are weak to rocks are always like so tricky to use. I feel.
I can see that.
Mhm. I will say this team does have a lot of pivoting options to potentially get into it before the rocks come out, which is something
Oh
I
yeah,
did like.
absolutely. I mean, you've got Dragapult, which can run U-turn for sure. Pidgeot itself runs U-turn. Incineroar has Parting Shot. Golduck has Flip Turn. You've got Double Volt Switch. On your defog and like removal side, like Mega Pidgeot probably always has a space to run defog. Kind of only really wants to run Hurricane.
I'd say at most it's running.
Yeah.
Really, it's running like U-turn, Hurricane, and then the last two slots are like a mix of like defog, heat wave, and roost.
Yeah, Fortress is going to be running Rapid Spin like every game. Rotom Frost, like all the other Rotom forms, pretty easily fits defog on its moveset.
Kartana's not running defog. I hope we're all.
And Kartana is not running. I didn't even mention it because of that. The frog, or I guess yeah, the frog.
Which one?
Well, the one that doesn't have Toad in its name.
Yeah. What about it?
I mean, I don't hate it as a mod. It's what is it, tier 4?
I'd say so. I've seen it do really good work.
Yeah, I was gonna say like it definitely like it's one that while not very bulky, you can definitely get it in with all your. It's got Sucker Punch. It's got Upper Hand now technically.
That's not a real move.
It's got Bullet Punch. It's got Fake Out with Poison Touch. Funny. Could theoretically flinch and poison you in the same turn.
Oh, that would be evil.
But you also could just run Dry Skin most of the time.
Especially with Terrifier, that was my thought of like Terrifier Dry Skin, so you lose that water weakness.
Yeah. But at that point, you do just kind of start smacking it with ground moves.
That's true.
So ground moves are like very safe into it. Flying types, your only flying resist is Rotom Frost.
That's true, but we're not really weak to them either, which is my thought.
No, you're not weak, but like a good not a lot of ways to switch into them.
That's true.
But that is not like a big deal breaker because you have the best spammable flying type in the game. Incineroar, I like Incineroar Sylveon as just like your solid defensive like tier 2s. Golduck, I know you've mostly picked up just because of Cloud9. Which I'm not sure. I mean, what else?
So what I specifically
What
like
else
about
gets
Golduck
Cloud9?
as a Cloud9, so it was like basically it was this or Lickitung in tier 5.
Yeah.
And what I like about Golduck is against a lot of those weather teams, it's kind of threatening when there's no weather. Like those, like it's faster than quite a few Sunmons. It's faster than a lot of the Sand abusers, and it gets like moves that can punish them.
Indeed.
Like Venusaur gets Ice Beam and Psyshock. It's got like what's it called? Water moves to like the Sand abusers. Focus Blast for Ice types.
Additionally, as an anti-weather mod, if you're up against a rain team, you can surprise them with Swift Swim as well.
That's true.
And heck, you have double Swift Swim as well because you have you have the Toad.
Yeah, Mr. Toad.
Which I'm a big fan of water ground types.
Oh, they're so good.
And Xeon is pretty interesting actually. Because it lets you surprise kill something.
Yeah, it's not 95. We were talking about like, I know we were talking about like I was saying Walrein. Like I think but like it is like it has been a surprise kill like with Liquidation or Earthquake. But even like I think it has some good utility moves. Like I mean,
it gets Poison Jab. You can switch it in, and it can just surprise kill a fairy.
Gets
with
knockoff.
Yeah. Although you don't really want to run Z knockoff because then you don't knock off the item.
I cannot.
And another thing in its favor as a Z captain, I think, compared to Walrein, is just I think Seismitoad can get away with not having another item.
Yeah, he usually likes leftovers, I feel, but like...
Yeah, but it's not a mon that's like married to any specific,
Yeah.
like... It's kind of leftovers, it's just there because it's like the best option you have.
Hmm.
So I do think this is like a strong team. It's a team where there's not a ton of like immediate flaws. But I don't know if it's quite up there with like Bushie. I would probably say like top of A tier.
I can agree.
That was my thought process as well, because I struggled to really see this as S tier potential, because I think this is also... One, it feels really matchup dependent, and two, it just feels like this is gonna come down really to how it's played on the day.
Here's my question, though. What do we think about Kartana?
And Cortana's a pretty good mon.
I hope so, with that attack stat.
It can kill things.
I think it's definitely
and
one
it's
of the
really good at
scariest
killing
elements on the
things.
team.
I will say this team was supposed to have Primarina as the fairy type in tier 2 at first, but someone stole it from me right before I was about to pick it.
Yeah, but then at that point you wouldn't have the Toad, so you know it was kind of worth
so
it.
It got us Mr. Frog and Mr. Toad, so it's kind of worth it. I'll accept top of 8 tier. That's doable enough. I'm excited to use this team. It's a lot of Pokemon
Yeah.
I've not really used before, or not used in a very long time. The most recent mons I've used on this team are like Fortress and Sylveon.
Yeah. Like, I don't think it's quite got the S tier potential of the other teams, but I think it's like above. I'd put it right above Andro for now.
Okay.
But that's because they're the only two teams in A tier. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Yeah, pretty much.
Moving on then.
Yep.
We have Leah's team in the first team. That was the last team in our first half. Yeah, so we have Leah's team, which is Meowscarada, Urshifu Rapid Strike, Sui and Gudra, Tapu Bulu, Chandelure, Sandy Shocks, Sui and Avalugg, Mesprit, Golbat, and Cricketune. We have Z Mesprit, Terra Sandy Shocks, with Sandy Shocks being Groundwater Ice. First things first, let's talk about the positives. Which is
I think
this team-
Terra Sandy Shock should not be allowed.
I can agree with that.
I think that was an oversight, especially considering that both Jolteon and Kilowattrel were Terra banned, but I think Sandy Shocks can just hit things harder.
So it actually does have lower Spatak than both of them. Or no, it has higher Spatak, sorry. It's slower, though. A lot slower.
It's slower, but it can also run Photosynthesis because it's tier 3. Or it can run Booster.
That's true, yeah.
Or run Scarf.
Yeah, that too. I will say, I think my first praise for this team is that you have a really good, some powerful heavy hitters for sure.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we talked about the Sandy Shocks. You have an Urshifu right there, which is an Urshifu.
Yeah.
You got Chandelure, which, you know, it's a 145 special attack.
Meowscarada, I think gets overlooked as well. Like 110 isn't a massive attack, but keep in mind Flower Trick.
But then it's got Protean. It's got Flower Trick and then
Flower
Protean
Trick
boost.
always crits. Ooh. Like it can actually really hurt. Tapu Bulu as well can hit hard, but we'll get more to Tapu Bulu in a little bit. Next thing I really like, you have hazards galore, and you have really good pivot options. Like all those mons do not mind running like Volt Switch or U-turn. They're all actually pretty good on all of them actually.
Yeah, Meowscarada like lives with U-turn basically. Sandy Shocks lives with Volt Switch. U-turn on Mesprit's pretty great because Mesprit's fairly kind of like pivot mon anyway.
I'm kind of curious what it'll do with Z though.
Yeah, I'm curious because it's not like. I guess it's just kind of something you have to throw on it. I mean, so wait, is Avalugg Hisui tier 5 or is it tier 4?
Tier 4.
Tier 4, okay. So, yeah, you can't Terra it and Sandy Shocks, which is unfortunate, because I think Terra Avalugg would be great, because it's a defensive mon that is an Ice and a Rock type.
Yeah. So that's one of, I will say quickly my last big pro for the team, excellent speed tiers in my opinion. Maybe a little bit of a gap between Sandy Shocks and Masquerada, but I think that needs to be fixed. With like,
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd like to see something at like the 110 spot.
I agree.
Mhm.
However, my biggest complaints is that you have a really physically offensive team, with your only real your only real special offensive mods are that Sandy Shocks and Chandelure. Maybe it's just because
Which
you
I think
have-
those are honestly like those two are just really good special attackers
They
anyway.
are.
So
I
like
would
I don't
love-
think it's like that big of a issue.
No, it's not. It feels weird with like, especially with how like I think physically defensively lacking this team is, because your best physically defensive mon is Avaloik, and that nope. Without Terra, it's not a good defensive mon in my opinion.
And Mesmer
will
can
say,
take
I do
hits. It's
think,
got
I do
81
think
and 105,
Gudra-
105.
I would agree if Mesprit had recovery.
I think Gudra is also notable on like the special and bulk side at the least here.
No, I think
because I think
that's why I
that's
didn't-
another option.
Yeah, that's why I didn't mention it, because but like I feel like then you lose your special ball if Gudra's running offense.
It does potentially though. I think this team can believably bait out grass type moves for it to just get the sap sipper boost.
No, I think that is very possible. I mean, that boosts its attack, doesn't it?
Oh, that's attack, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it can run like Earthquake, but with
Yeah, it's got 100 attack, so it's
But that
not like
more
it's
to
like-
the issue with like the physical attackers.
mm-hmm.
No, I think it's really good, like especially defensive mod, especially with like AV, because it doesn't mind running like AV max, HP max, bulk, and then just like 4 offensive moves. Like you can actually like really fuck up special attackers still with that.
Yeah.
My biggest issue though, your offensive core of like Meowscarada, Urshifu, Chandelure, while really strong, is really frail. None of those Pokemon like taking hits. Like even Urshifu with 100 HP, 100 defense, it dies to any special move that it is weak to. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it dies to Razor Leaf from Bellsprout. It dies to Magical Leaf from Badoo. That's a better analogy. But like, you get what I mean. Like, its special defense is abysmal. And I think now you could say, wait, what not? But why not just put Tapu Bulu in instead of Meowscarada? That's got a lot of bulk. But I don't. That's my other big complaint with this team. Or one of my big complaints with this team. I have one more. But like, I don't like having a tier 1 and tier 2 be grass types.
Yeah, although I was gonna say, what I would like to see, if you really want that tier 1 grass type, I would like to see something that can, like, use Grassy Glide.
You want Rillaboom.
Yeah, I would like to see a Rillaboom here.
You see, honestly, I
Or
could see
even,
both of these being condensed.
like, if
into
you
a
wanted to
Rillaboom.
keep the Tapu, I could see, like, even Ogrepon Cornerstone.
Ooh, yeah.
Mhm.
Lowers your speed a little bit, but like,
Lowers your speed slightly, but you could probably grab, like, something else.
I liked the idea of like Rillaboom and then like a fast tier 2. What are some fast tier 2s? Gengar.
So this team would be losing its fairy type, so that's something to keep
That
in
is
mind if you
true.
drop Bulu.
There's not a lot of fast fairies.
So, like- No. But what is there for fairies in tier 2?
Mega Altaria. Diancie.
You could also just pick up a Halucha. That fixes your speed problem.
Yeah, Rillaboom Halucha sounds really good.
But then you have 2 fighting types.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm.
It kind of is an issue of fixing. Like, I don't know. I'm not sold on the Bulu Meowscarada combination at all. If it was one or the other, I would not be batting an eye. I think they're both solid, but like having both of them almost feels like you're wasting one of those. You're wasting those tiers
Yeah.
because one of those Pokemon will not be getting as much play as the other, and that's going to hurt the team.
Yeah, because they're 2 of your best mons, I feel.
I
Like,
agree.
the thing with this team is I feel like any changes you make, like, the team, like, you take one piece out, the whole rest of the team falls apart, but you still need to change something somehow.
And there's one other criticism I have for this team, and that's the hazard removal.
Yeah, because, I mean, like I said, you're kind of relying on Avalokisui to now come every game, or Golbat, and I'm going to be honest, I don't, like, especially without Terra. I don't like Avalokisui having to come every game.
Neither do I. Golbat, I'm more oh yeah, even like Golbat sounds pretty good as like a defensive mod, and I agree it does. My issue is just it's going to be really weak to taunt. Like that's my issue. It's like it's not as fast as Defogger. It's very easy to predict. Oh, it's going over. Also, if it's running Eviolate, it takes 25% from Stealth Rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's taking like 50% more from everything.
Yeah. It's like it's good with Eviolite, but now you can't run. Now you can't run shoes. It's not as fast. It's nowhere near as fast as Golbat. I mean, it's 40 points slower. And Golbat is probably like, or not Golbat, Crobat, and Crobat is like the premier defogger. I feel like this team kind of has lost something. That's why I have this team really low rated. I won't lie.
I was gonna say I think I will have this team lower than what you have. I have this team below Bacon.
Okay, I have this team at 16th. So I have this team
I
right
won't.
above Bacon.
I won't lie. I'm a bit with Lex here because I think Bacon has more ways to get to a win con than this team. Honestly.
So do we put it between Bacon and Ben?
That's where I have it.
So like low C tier.
Yeah.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
This team can still win, but I think it's a team that's going to struggle.
Yeah. Again, offensively.
Like, granted, like your win con is basically like you have to get to an Urshifu rapid game winning state.
Yeah. Well, like that's the thing is like there's so many strong offensive mons, but nothing on this team really takes a hit except for Goodra. Like and like also with like pivoting, with how many rock weak Pokemon, like rocks will hurt this team a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and even with the recovery from grassy terrain, you're not gonna be really saving yourself much from that rock damage.
Yeah, like between Oasis slot, bad defensive mons, and really frail offensive mons, I feel like this team, it can absolutely win games, but I feel like it's in a tough spot.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
honestly, the only reason I think I have it above Ben is just because Ben has that multiple, like, -3 weaknesses.
Yeah. No,
I actually think Ben has an easier time winning games.
Yeah, but, like,
I just think that, like, this team has less immediately, like,
and it does have some glaring weaknesses. I mean, with, like, 2 Ghost Weak Mons, and your only resist is Meowscarada.
Which isn't even really a Ghost Resist a lot of the time, because it Proteans out of Dark-type quite a bit.
Yeah, and it's not bulky.
And it doesn't want to ever stay in and take a hit anyway.
4 Flying Weak Mons, including a lot of your core, offensive core.
That ice weakness isn't in very likable either.
No, 5 or 3 Water Weak. I mean, you do have Flash Fire Chandelure, which loves running Flash Fire, so that's not as bad. But, yeah, I think this team will struggle, but I think this team has a chance to do really well. Anyways, that marks the halfway point.
Yeah, can we take like a little 15-minute break?
I agree. Yeah, stretch your legs. Alrighty then, and now we're moving on to the second half of the tier list. So, funnily enough, we're going to start up with Lex's team.
Woo!
Lex's team is Zamazenta, no crowned, Necrozma, Clodsire, and base Necrozma, Clodsire, Mandibuzz, Hisuian, Lilligant, Tinkaton, Lycanroc, Midday, Typhlosion, Haunter, and Lapras. It is Z, Lilligant, and Terra, I believe, Fire, Grass, Dragon, Typhlosion, base Typhlosion.
I just want to say up front, off the bat, this is like S tier alone for just having Clodsire and Tinkaton.
Is that based on the friend level or the annoyance level?
Oh no, the love level.
I was gonna say, I mean, Lilligant is my favorite Pokemon of all time, and Tinkaton is my second favorite Pokemon of all time, so...
Let's go.
This is the best team, in my opinion.
I think it is definitely up there. There is one team that I think I'm the only one that has it in S, but I think it sort of fights for, like, the position. And I'll explain why when we get to it, but this is definitely up there in, like, that top 5 contention. This is easily almost #1, in my opinion.
Wow. Yeah.
I've got a dog.
Hi, dog.
Actually, I've got 2 dogs.
Holy shit. So the first thing I want to talk about, those high tiers, they're excellent. Like, Necrozma and Zamazenta is a disgusting duo. Oh, you mean the dogs on the team?
Yep.
I was like, oh, why are you talking about that you have dogs with you right now? No, you have dogs on the team.
And I already got one dog. He's eating.
Yeah. No, I think these two work really well together. They're extremely tanky. They hit like trucks. Yeah, 120/115 for its offenses, and then 127. Like, they will carry games.
And Necrozma is such a silly mod because it can do whatever it wants.
Yeah, it really can.
And Necrozma is just going to be a question mark in building every time.
Yeah.
That's just a mon you can never properly predict.
Yeah.
Like, it's got, let me see, it can be a Stealth Rock lead. It has Stealth Rocks. It's got Power Meteor Beam. It's a great weakness policy mon because of Prism Armor.
I think for the characters we've seen so far, these are the best two.
Perfectly selected, yeah.
Because I believe you still get the hustle boost with Z moves.
Yes.
So, yeah, Lilligant, very good Z move user. Typhlosion, honestly, I can see you basically just clicking Terra Fire most battles and just erupting all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, and that will, like, actually do so much work. Like, Choice Scarf Eruption is... Terra Fire is insanely strong, especially in draft.
Terra Grass is just there because it's such a good type to Terra into defensively, and then Terra Dragon because I don't actually have a Dragon type, and I was like, well, let's resist my other weaknesses, so why not?
You have really good speed tiers, like, you have a little slow guy down here, but, like, that's fine,
Clodsire and Lapras are not ever running speed investment anyway.
I mean, Lapras can run D-Dance sets, so don't say never.
Yeah,
that's
and
fair.
even
Necrozma gets Automatized and also D-Dance for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And, like, with that speed tier in mind, that speed tier on Clodsire never mattered for it to be the best mod in Season 1.
Yeah, it was MVP for a reason. Let's see if it'll have back-to-back MVP appearances and performances. Or maybe a new mod will step up. Who knows? Maybe it'll be another one of Clodsire's teammates. I think you have hazards for days as well. Like, all of these Pokemon are fine to run any of those hazards. The exception being, like, maybe Haunt or Toxic Spikes. But, like, I think you can still find good places for it.
Yeah, like, Clodsire can run all three of them happily. Lycanroc is, like, a pretty good dedicated lead. Tinkaton is very happy to run the Stealth Rock.
I think the biggest issues with your team that I have are you have two hazard removers. Really, it's just one. It doesn't show here.
And really, it's just Mandibuzz, but also Mandibuzz is coming every game, and it's going to be running Defog every game.
So both of my issues, my other issue is also, like, your weaknesses, where you have, like, big ground ghost and psychic weaknesses, which Mandibuzz also checks. Like, I feel like that is... Basically, the complaint is, like, without Mandibuzz kind of is, like, glue on this team.
Yeah, and that's why I picked it. That's why I picked it last pick.
No, yeah, I think Mandibuzz is really good for this team. I think that, like, Fighting Steel, or that Fighting Psychic, so the old, like, Fighting Psychic Dark Core is alive on this team really fucking well. Really well. You pair them with, like, a Fairy Resist, like Tinkaton, really, not Typhlosion, who am I kidding? You don't want the thing taking damage. And your team is so solid. Like, those four are all you need, really. But, like, that's the thing is, like, those four alone are scary. You add two more Pokemon on top of that still that can be, like, offensive or utility threats. Like, you bring Clodsire for a special wall, or maybe you're bringing a specially defensive Necrozma, because it can run defensive sets as well. Dear God, this team is so disgusting. Maggie.
You've got, I can blow things up with a Z Lilligant.
Yeah. Maggie, are you in agreement with me here with that this is the team to beat?
Yes, I think this is absolutely the team to beat.
So far, this is like, for sure the highest level team we have. I have this over Bushie and Hannah. I have you top of I have you number one overall, I will say. I think, because as I said, the only, like, big weaknesses I can find are with lack of hazard removal and the weaknesses, which Mandibuzz, which you're basically going to be bringing every week, because it's such a good defensive mon. It can run physical defensive, it can run special defensive, probably more physical, just with its more innate bulk. Also,
and, like, with this team, the team has enough special, like, this team's already fairly specially defensive between Tinkaton. even Necros is more physical, but like
Lapras
Lapras is
to a
more,
regard.
especially Clodsire.
I would say.
Yeah, I
like,
got 2 things at 130 special, or I've got 2 things at 130 HP. I've got double water absorb on this team as well.
Which
And I can also like I can abuse other teams' weather because I have Sand Rush on Lycanroc if I wanted to. I've got Chlorophyll Lilligant if I wanted to.
Yeah, no, we were talking about like Hustle, but like Chlorophyll, like against like another team, and also it's I think it's the fastest Chlorophyll mon. Don't at me, but I think it is.
And I can also run Solar Blade if I really wanted to against other weather teams.
No, yeah, exactly. Like I think, or you can run like Rest, Hydration, and Rain on Lapras. Like I like the thing is like you have the weirdest thing I hate about most of my team is like I would love to see those tier 5s be Terra, but like the Pokemon but like Typhlosion is even a better Terra. It's like you have such good Terra options on like all of your Pokemon could be like good Terra or Z captains, and that kind of hurts.
Yeah, even like Lycanroc could do both.
Yeah, no, like you have such good options, and I really like that for you. That's what makes this team so scary because you have such good offensive and defensive options. I am so surprised Zamazenta got to in the draft. Like how low you were.
Literally, like, I didn't plan on picking up Zamazenta because I thought it would be gone by pick 5.
Maggie, what were we fucking... Hey, I was pick 5. I wanted Dragon Ball.
Hey,
Maggie, what were we doing? What were we doing?
I had to get my bird, okay?
Okay, so speaking of the bird, should we move on to Maggie's team, which is next?
Yep. I respect the round 1 pickup because I did the exact same thing last season.
No, I think with... So let's talk about Maggie's team. We have Tornadus Therian, Mega Swampert, Nihilego, Pelipper, Heliolisk, Slurpuff, Centiskorch, Cryogonal, Aggron, and Alolan Executor. First thoughts on this team. Oh, by the way, it's Terra, it's Z, Alolan Executor, and then Terra, Heliolisk, Aggron. Terra types on Heliolisk are, I believe it is Electric, Water, and Ground, and then Aggron is... Am I correct on? Yeah, I am. And then Aggron is Steel, Fighting, Flying. And then Z, Alolan Executor. First thoughts on my team, I don't know what yours are, Lex. I really dig this team. I had it really high rated.
Yeah, I like this team a lot.
I think the first thing is, like, because, like, obviously you have a rain team. Mega Swampert is your physical attacker. But then what I really like is that you have 2 Pokemon that could really be considered your, like, special rain mons. And they are Tornadus and Heliolisk. And I think people aren't going to realize that both those mons do benefit from rain. Especially because, I think maybe Heliolisk a bit more, because people will see, like, okay, Electric, Thunder, it's going to run Thunder for rain sometimes. But it does get Surf or Weather Ball if you're feeling risky. Especially with Terra Water, it's going to absolutely hit like a truck. With Terra Ground, it only has 2 weaknesses with Ice and Grass because it gets Dry Skin, or you can be running like it gets Solar Power, and I think what's the other one? Sand Veil. So you're really running. It's really a Weathermon. Holy shit.
I know, right?
But I feel like you'll be running Dry Skin most weeks for the water immunity. I'd be surprised if you didn't, especially because you're then healing in rain as well. But like Weather Ball, and honestly with Terra Ground, Mud Slap does become 60 base power, which is your best ground move. That's it. You don't get an Ice type move, so like Terra Ice wouldn't have worked. You don't get Terra Blast because it's not in Gen 9. But I dig the Terra Ground because that base 60 power Mud Slap. If someone's already using a lower accuracy move, you can just make them want to cry.
I just like Nihilego as a Pokemon. It's what I've wanted to pick up for a long time.
No, thank you for actually bringing up Nihilego next, because like I want to talk about Tornadus and Nihilego next. I think Nihilego is like, if we want to talk about, I think with Guy's team we talked briefly about Power or Meteor Beam. This is I think the premier Pokemon to do it because it doesn't get stab on it. It's a special attacker. You might want to run. The issue is then you might not have like. If you want to run like another stab move for Rock, you'd have to run 2, which could be a little awkward, and I think it would be. I mean, the other thing is like if you have like good time movements, I think you could probably get away with just a raw Meteor Beam. It's extremely risky, but I think you could get away with it.
Yeah, you can also like it's with its hazard setting moves too. It can basically just be like. You can even use it as a dedicated lead and basically play it like a Glamora.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's Toxic Spikes.
Because it's got like the exact same. It's got basically the exact same spread as Glimmer, I think almost. It just doesn't have spikes.
Yeah.
It's actually just bulkier.
It's faster.
So, yeah,
as well.
it's just like bulkier.
It doesn't get
Bulkier,
Toxic
faster
Debris.
Glimora.
It doesn't get
No,
Toxic
but
Debris, that's the big
you could have said kill something and then kill things harder.
Yeah. I will say, I think you have great Terra Captains as well. I think Aggron and Helios love changing their typings. We haven't even talked about Aggron. Oh my gosh, should we talk about Aggron? This Pokemon's Terra typings are phenomenal for it. Fighting lets it get stab body press with 180 defense. That can be like a good physical wall.
Delightful.
I think that's like arguably one of the best body presses in the game, right?
Yes, I would say so. I would say
it's up there.
For what we have drafted so far, I think it's one of the highest defense mons, especially if you're getting stab on it. I'd say it's like better than like mons like Mega Steel, like Straw.
Yeah, now, I mean, granted, I do think I probably have the best body presser just because of stab and the ability, but Mega Aggron is also, like, great.
Mm-hmm.
I've got the dog. The dog press is good.
Yeah. Dog's also really fast. We didn't talk about the dog as much as we should.
Yeah.
But, like, there's not much to say about the dog. The dog was just the dog.
The dog is just sort of self-explanatory.
The dog might be more like the
138 speed, by the way.
Yeah. Nearly as fast as
I think like top 5 fastest things in the pool are like that got drafted.
But like obviously like Terra Steel's there because you need to stab. I think the thing that's gonna go underlooked or overlooked, I guess. Which does it go both ways when you say that? But I think that Terra Flying, people aren't going to think about because you think what type is Aggron the most weak to? Fighting and ground.
And ground, so you just grow some wings, and then you're good.
Exactly. And if you're running body press, rock and ice types don't want to deal with you to switch in. Like, I think Aggron has the potential with Terra to be really, really good for your team. You have really strong threats. Also, Mega Swampert in Rain. I'm just going to end that statement there.
If you thought regular Swampert was good, wait until he grows arms.
He gets swole.
And you've got webs as well, because like a lot of you do have that big. The one like thing is you do have that big speed gap, almost as big as I think Bacon, if not bigger, from 103 to 72.
And I think that is absolutely something to question. With webs and rain support, so that makes that 70 not real, and webs can really help, especially with an unburdened mon as well.
Well, the webs is the unburdened setter.
Yeah. Well, that's what I meant, like those two together, like that combination on the same mon. My biggest criticism, I think you have a few questionable mons on this team, mainly the Centiscorch and the Loading Executive.
I was gonna say, I do not like it to Centiscorch.
Yeah.
I don't think this team needs to flash fire because you're already so like fire resistant. And it just gives you a massive rock weakness, which you already have because you have a Pelipper.
And a Tornadus.
And a Tornadus. And a Cryogonal.
I will say, I like Cryogonal. I think it's good. It gives you a really good, reliable Rapid Spinner. Which
it's your spinner.
Also...
Or you can even use it for defog to get rid of, like, other teams' screens if they are running, like, Grimmsnarler or something.
I will say, like, I think it has, like, really, like, underrated Special Bolt. I mean, 80-135 is pretty damn good. Also it can hit hard, especially with Freeze Dry, like can ruin a mon's day. Freeze Dry is one of the best offensive moves in my opinion.
I think the issue with Centiscorch is what else do you pick up like if you want a tier 4 fire? Or do you need a tier 4 fire even? I don't think you want a fire. I think you want something that's like a resist to
a resist the fire?
A rock. You want like a rock resist.
So like a fighting type, perhaps.
Yeah, but then you do. What I was looking at is you only have one psychic resist as well, and that's something that's going to be Terra fighting almost all the time.
Oh yeah, there's no dark type.
No dark type. I'd like to see like if honestly you could go for Houndoom.
That was something that was on like my considerations, no lie. But then I was just like semi-concerned about the extra fighting weakness.
It's an extra fighting weakness, yes, but it's a much better speed tier than Centiscorch. It gives you a dark type. It's still flash fire. It gets you up to 95 in between that 103 and 72.
Also, I think you have some really
Instead
good
of having a
fighting
second
resist.
65.
You do have some really good fighting resist, in my opinion.
Yeah,
especially
you got a
with-
Tornadus.
Especially
You got a
when
Pelipper.
two of them are most likely are going to most of the time. Actually, one of them will always be terroring out, and one of them most of the time will be terroring out of a fighting resist, and even into a resist most of the time out of a fighting week. I would say Rock Week. I think Houndoom actually is a really nice pickup for you. Only other thing is I don't dig Vigzag as well. I get it's a dragon type, and I think that's really nice. And I like if you're gonna make one of your tier 5s Z move one, this is the one to do it for sure.
Yeah, because you kind of, I mean, you have to. If you're picking, like, obviously you should Terra Heliolisk, and you should Terra Aggron, which kind of means you have to have that last one be that.
With 125's attack, it can absolutely run nukes with, like, Draco Meteor.
That was literally
and now it can nuke.
No lie.
It can nuke harder.
Yeah. You'll probably end up running Frisk, though, as a ability, which is also it's not good, but, like, it gives you a little bit of information, which isn't necessarily bad.
I also just don't know what else you would run instead of, like, Executor.
Yeah. Because I like the idea of a dragon type. I do really like that.
There's not many other dragons in tier 5.
Yeah, I would employ...
Want to run, like, a Fracture or a Gabite, which kind of aren't real.
No, Fracture's kind of real, I think. Oh, wait, no, because you can't be running Eviolite.
Yeah, because it'd be, like... Trying to pick up a NFE as your Z captain is, like, really rough.
Yeah. No, never mind. I take that back.
You could run, Z slacking so they can't protect through your Z move.
I will say, I would highly employ checking out the Houndoom pickup over at Scorch. I will say, though, even with Scorch, I have this team rated really highly. I don't know about you, Lex. I had this top of my A tier.
I was gonna say I would probably put this maybe even like right above your team or like right next to it. It's your teams are very close.
So either like
top of A tier or like
bottom of S tier.
I'd say probably top of A.
Okay.
Because like I think the teams in S are teams with like minimal changes, whereas I do think like the Scorch is like something to definitely look into changing, and even potentially the Executor. But I think the Swampert, Pelipper in Rain and with Tornadus Heliolisk, because you're like, I like the fact that your Rain abusers aren't all water types. Cause that's a problem with weather teams.
Mm-hmm. No, I think that's really, really strong. Like, I think that's what makes Hannah so strong. Team so strong is like the abusers she has are varying different types. And the fact that you have that as well is something I really love, especially compared to like Andro's team, where like the snow abuser is an ice type. I mean, there's no non-ice snow abusers, so that's just an issue with snow. But no, yeah,
I think everything that gets Slush Rush is ice type.
Yeah, everything that does it, yes, it is. Where are we getting the sled dog Pokemon with Slush Rush? But yeah, no, I really like this team. I dig it. Top of A tier. I'm gonna stick with that. On to Nate's team. So for Nate's team,
because we did Leah's.
Yeah, I had them. I won't lie, I had it fucked up. I realized on the dock, it's like it should be you next to me and then Leah between you and Maggie.
Well, so I had all three of us at the end, so I'm jumping between different docks now.
Oh, I see. Yeah, I'm just going through.
My first one holds 15, so I had us as the last three. So now I'm having to jump between them.
I have 2 sheets that hold 10 each, so might as well go in order. On to Nate's team, which has Ogrepon Hearthflame, Ursaluna, Metagross, Primarina, Crobat, Goodra, Cursula, Scrafty, Armaldo, and Manectric, with Terra, Scrafty, and Armaldo, and Z Manectric. Terra types are on Scrafty. We've got Fighting, Steel, and Ice, and Armaldo has Bug, Water, Fighting. I like this team. I'm in favor of it.
I do too. There's a few things I would like to change, but I'll get into that.
Yes.
I love the Goodra, Metagross, Primarina core.
First thing that I have listed is I love that you have, with 4 Mons, you have a Fairy Steel Dragon and a Fire Water Grass core, because Primarina or Ugopon together is a good core. They have, and
then obviously, like, you are a big Crobat fan, and there's your poison resist, there's your Crobat.
Yeah, the one thing I think this team is lacking is like a grounded poison it doesn't have.
Yeah.
I mean, you also have Metagross the Steel type, which
But
is
even then, like, you have a Steel type, you have a Mon that's very happy to click Defog, you have a Mon that's very happy to click Rapid Spin.
Yeah. You have really good speed tiers.
I mean, yeah, you got the 130, 110, 105 that you do
Yeah.
drop to 80, 70,
Yeah.
60, and then you've got 5 Mons that are 60 or below,
Yeah.
which is going to get into my major flaw with the team, but we'll get into that later. I do like Terra, Scrafty, and Armaldo. Not sure on the types, and then Zemanectric is just kind of there because you have
The
to.
Armaldo ones, I dig. I get.
Is it
ones,
Terra fighting on there,
Yes.
or because I think it does get body press, right?
Ooh, yeah. So that might be pretty good. Uh,
It does not get a body press.
I think it does get superpower.
Yeah, that's good.
What I don't dig is the ones on what's it called? On Scrafty. I like the fighting. I like the steel. Not much ice. It's kind of like on Ben, where it's like I don't dig it. I don't like the offensive one.
Does it even get Ice Punch?
Yes, but I mean, I think it's Terra Blast, doesn't it? Or is it not in this gen?
I believe it's in the gen.
It is, yeah. So it does get Terra Blast. But like, it's I don't like Terra Ice unless you're like, my issue with a lot of Terra Ice mons. With running Terra Ice, you want to be fast if you're running Terra Ice. Like that's what makes that like Bolt Beam combo so strong. Is like a fast Pokemon that can use it. That's why every grass or every electric ice type is so fucking slow. But you have that exact same issue here. I think if you really wanted to be like, so I was actually talking with Nate about this. Nate said the reason for the Terra Ice is to hit flying types. I prefer. I mean, at first I'd rather you not bother with it. Really, I think like a Stone Edge, like a D-Dance versus Stone Edge or something would be more than enough.
But honestly, if you want to hit it flying types, I kind of prefer the idea of a Terra Electric here because
I do as well.
every other option, Scrafty already has to fear potentially being hit by a fighting type move.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree with that. I really like that. I dig that idea as well. ZR Wall is kind of gonna have to. I think this team does have really good wall breakers. Is the other thing I wanted to say, like Ursaluna, Ogerpon, of course, to an extent. Here's my issue with this team. This feels like a Trick Room team with those lower 4, but it's not. There's no Trick Room setter on this team, and I think this team could really benefit from one. My other issue with this team, where are the special attackers? Like, sure, Curse exists, but it's not reliable. So that leaves you with, really, Primarina is the only special offense on this team in my eyes. Like, the only reliable special offense, I should say. I don't know what you guys think, though.
I think at least Magnetric can sort of take a surprising amount of special damage, but at the same time, I do agree that I think with only those 3 options, you're kind of lacking in reliable special damage, like you brought up.
Oh, looks like Lex is muted.
Fair enough. But yeah, I think just getting a Magnetric in or getting Corsola in and having them do that damage you want them to do is going to be very iffy, I feel.
No, I agree. I mean, I think Magnetric does have the big issue of, like, I mean, the big benefit of being a Z-Captain, so we can't get, like, a special nuke off, but that's, like, a one-time thing.
The other scary thing is it's one of your only reliable ones, and one of its best options is going for electric type moves, which is going to be very predictable into ground types.
Yeah, and you don't want to waste the ground type to do that. Yeah, Alexa's saying her biggest concern was the lack of Trick Room. I agree. I think a Trick Room setter would be really good on this team. I could honestly see you, like, going down a tier and maybe picking up, like, another weirdly enough, like a different dragon type in tier 2 over Gudra, and then swapping Gudra for like Bronzong, because that would give you like a good trick room. You'd still keep that like steel psychic typing if you really wanted it. Gives you a really good bulky mon. I like Metagross a lot, but like if you did want trick room, I feel like that's like the first like standout trick room user or like setter in my eyes. What else can set trick room? And like what's the like I'm trying to think of like a good like dragon type then you could pick up in tier 2 in its place. I mean there's Regidrago, there's Haxorus. Haxorus is more offensive. That's really it looks like, yeah. Not a lot left.
Yeah, there's not really a lot of really standout things in tier 2 that you could really slot in.
But yeah, no, I dig this team as is. I really like it. I have it top of B tier. So above Jommy.
Actually, in terms of like trying to solve like the special issue, I think honestly, if you were to take the idea of swapping out Metagross and grabbing Bronzong in tier 3, I don't think it would hurt this team to grab Mega Blastoise. A second water doesn't seem like a bad idea.
Yeah, that could work. My issue is though that both of your special attackers, like core special attackers, would be water types. Which could kind of hurt the team, or it could be a little bit like risky.
I do agree. That's just based off like a really quick observation.
Yeah, Regidrago is like one of those ones where like, it can be like split like physical or special, or you can grab Ments, which like can also run special sets at times, decently reliably. But like, I don't know. Yeah, I have this team top of B tier. I don't know where you would rate it.
I was in agreement. I think top of B is really the ceiling that I would place this on, because I do agree it has. It's a trick room team lacking trick room, and like.
It does have Tailwind from Crobat, but I don't know how much I dig that. I kind of would prefer Trick Room.
I don't think you can really slot that on very effectively,
Yeah.
just because isn't it also like the... Does this team have another Defogger?
No, it only has Rapid Spin then from Armaldo.
Yeah.
No, yeah, my big issue is as well with that. I feel like Tailwind is kind of used more to like make fast Pokemon like missing a little bit of speed even faster. Trick Room is used to make your bulky slow Pokemon even go first, and that is a very big difference. You, because like think are you investing max attack, max speed, or Saluna to get the most out of Tailwind, or are you doing max HP, max attack, or Saluna to get the most out of Trick Room? That's the question. And I think I know my answer. Also, yeah, my big issue with Cursula is it's so fucking frail. I mean, 60 and 50 for HP defense.
Yeah, and I mean, you have that big special defense, but even then, most of the time, this thing is just going to get hit by a physical move anyway. I feel.
No, it's a knockoff equip one. Honestly, if you're going to have no Trick Room, I wouldn't mind swapping Cursula for Corsola, Galarian Corsola. Keep the ghost type.
I agree. I think Corsola as well is just like sort of flawed in the way that like it's sort of like Quillfish, where draft wise I prefer the pre-evolve.
No, yeah, I agree. I mean, like this is even more case where I think Corsola is genuinely outclassed, whereas like Hisui and Quillfish and Overquill do two different things. Yeah, no. I'm gonna put this team though still in my eyes. It is top of B tier. I have it right above Jommy. And so moving on. So on to the next team. We have Parker's team.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Right, yeah. Moving on to Parker's team, we now have Parker's team.
Four rock types.
Do I have opinions on this?
So first off, the team is Mega Diancie, Garchomp, Mamoswine, Skarmory, Gigalith, Tentacruel, Appleton, Archeops, no Bombardier, Dusknoir, and Alolan Golem. It was Bombardier, but it got switched for Archeops. With Terras on Gigalith, Dusknoir, and Z Alolan Golem. Gigalith is Rock Fighting and Water, and then Dusknoir is Ghost, Fire, and Ground. Let's be nice. Let's talk with the good things first.
So I will say this is the first real Sand team, that we're seeing here, of course.
Won't be the last.
I think, I want to at least say that I think Mega Diancie and Garchomp, along with Skarmory, very nice pickups.
Alongside that is a fantastic Ferristeel Dragon Core.
Like,
I am a big Mega Diancie fan. I'm a big Garchomp fan. I think Skarmory is obviously great.
I've seen what you've done.
I like Tentacruel as well.
Mm-hmm.
Alongside that, I think, I low-key think out of all the Sand setters, this team actually appreciates having Gigalith over the other two, which might sound strange, but I think the option of having the Terra on Gigalith actually makes it a little more appealing here.
I will say, I don't like the Terra types for Gigalith. Like, I get, okay, Bulky Water's nice, fighting for body press, but now Gigalith is taking damage from the sand. Not good.
I do agree on that front.
So real quick, where do we put Nate overall in the tier
Top
list?
of B tier.
Top of B? Okay, that's actually like pretty much exactly where I was going to put them.
Yeah. No, but like, no, I think the core is really good for this team. I think you have some super strong sweepers like Garchomp and Diancie, and even Mamoswine. Here's my issue with this team: 4 rock types.
4 rock types. And like specifically, I don't like the Bombardier turning into the Archeops.
I agree.
I would actually like to see that go back.
I thought the Dark type was good on this
Same.
team, and we lost the Dark type.
Like, it doesn't help your speed tiers at all, because it's tied with Diancie already. It's defeatist. Like, yeah, it gives you defog, but does it ever really want to run defog?
Bombardier had defog, didn't it?
No, Bombardier does not
Bombardier
have defog.
does have defog, I believe.
Well, to be fair, you have Rapid Spin and defog on Skarmory and Tentacruel, which like are really good at those.
Yeah, and Bird does not have defog.
Okay.
Okay.
Uh,
I will also say, you brought up Mamoswine before. I actively don't think this team needs Mamoswine, if I'm being completely honest. I think you already have a really solid ground type in Garchomp, and I think while Mamoswine itself is strong, I think there could be ways to patch this team that are in tier 2. And one of those I wanted to point out was I really like the idea of Volcanion on this team.
Oh. Yeah, because this team does not have a fire type. And it's a water absorb mod for your 4. Honestly, I think this team could... I think you could quite literally just drop every single tier 4 and every single tier 5 on this team.
I don't disagree. That's the thing. Like, Dusknoir is not a real Pokemon. I don't like Appleton here. I don't like Archeops, and Alolan Golem is also not a real Pokemon. Like, these are fake Pokemon.
Yeah, and as a captain, Golem there literally only has the Z captain because you don't have anything else.
Like, if you would like a Sandforce mod, there are options for Sandforce. Like, you could pick up tier 5 Alolan Dugtrio.
Ooh, yeah.
If you want, like, a Sand Abuser. Because it gives it, like, that little bit of power. Or Sand Rush. You can pick up... You know what you can pick up? You can pick up a tier 4 Houndstone.
Oh. How lovely.
Speaking of dogs, there's also a tier 5 Stoutland that you could arguably take that also can just run Sandforce.
Oh my god, yeah.
This is already the team with Houndstone and Stoutland instead of what's it called? Oh my god, I can't speak. Dusknoir and Archeops. This team's already got a lot less shared weaknesses. The 4 rock types, it's too much. Also,
and you could even drop Appleton, put Bombardier back in there, and see how it looks. Okay, you do have like kind of a serious electric weakness because you have a water type of, you have 2 waters and 2 flyers.
I will say, this could help it a little bit.
Ooh. Oh, I actually like Z Sceptile.
Gives it a little more
yeah.
speed. This is still with Volcanion as well, which... So this is quite a few changes, but I do like these changes. Not sure if Parker will go through them. I think it gives you a little bit more speed. You keep your utility as well. And I'm sure there's other changes as well you can make while keeping the team's core identity. Because I think that core you have is so solid. I think the core, the offensive core, is one of the best we've seen on these teams. Like, genuinely, it is so good. But the parts around it, I really don't like.
Like, if
there's a lot with this team I don't like.
Alone,
honestly...
Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say, like, honestly, might be my bottom team.
Your bottom team? In C or D?
I might honestly... I think it's still C tier, because I think this team could still win games. I don't think there's a D tier team here. I think every team has a chance to win a game.
Okay.
I think Ben has a higher chance of winning than this team does.
I'm in agreement that although this is still the only team that I still ultimately put in D tier, just because I think it falls apart really easily if it loses its core.
I think it'll be hard to lose that core. That was my thought. I'm gonna say I think I agree. I had it top of D tier. I'm willing to put it bottom of C.
Yeah, because right now I have nothing in D tier because I do think every team still has a chance. Like for me, D tier is this team cannot win a game.
That's
in
F
its
tier
current
for
state,
me.
and I was gonna say I'm not doing an F tier.
I didn't do an F tier because I didn't think any teams were F tier.
Yeah, for me, D tier is just this team cannot win a game.
Okay.
So I think this team
Absolutely
could win a game. I think it's just going to be very hard for this team to do so.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can agree with that. Moving on then, we've only.
I think Ben can scam out games much easier with Volcarona and basically Volcarona, Moltres, and Mega Mawile can cheat out games a lot easier than just Garchomp and Diancie can.
Yeah. So, moving on then, we have Foe's team, which is Roaring Moon, Zapdos, Espathra, Iron Treads, Florges, Swampert, Mega Banette, Caparaja, Clodsir, and Crocodile with Z Swampert, Terra Clodsir, and Terra Crocolar. Clodsir is Water Dragon Steel, and Crocolar is Fire Fairy Grass. This is a scary team, in my opinion. I have this pretty highly.
I like this. Espathra basically gives you another tier 1.
Yeah, I agree. It doesn't get Terra. I think this spawn, in order to be the super clear, it loves Terra Fire, which it doesn't have. As someone who has absolutely used it to ruin teams in the league right now, I don't think so. I don't think it needs the Terra.
I think that it only needs
kills things.
It doesn't depend on Terra.
No, I don't.
It's like a mon that will be just fine without Terra.
No, I think it is just fine with Terra. I think, but I'm saying in order to be it is with Terra, it is unstoppable. Without Terra, it's a little bit kneecapped, which is why it's tier 2. I think it does.
Roaring Moon is still a very good mon, even without booster. But luckily, there is a Sun team, so it can at least still potentially get it. But it is still a Roaring Moon.
All tier 1 and tier 0 Paradox Pokemon cannot hold boost energy, which so Roaring Moon is one of those. Roaring Moon is tier 0. So Roaring Moon the only way that Roaring Moon will be able to get a booster energy boost or process this boost is through Sun. But yeah, we have two very good setup sweepers with Espathra and Roaring Moon. I
love Zapdos as a defensive tool.
Yeah, I think,
and it still kills things as well.
No, it's really good at killing things. I think you have a really good Fairy Steel Dragon Core with Moon, Treads, Florges. Florges is one of the best special walls in the game.
And then you also have Treads, who's just a great defensive tool as well.
Defensive, it's got utility for days. It can run booster. Important to know.
Yeah, but it's not a mon that, like, it's not a Paradox mon that lives and dies by booster.
Yeah. Compare that with another tier 1, like tier 2, like Slytherin, which does, I think. I think this team has some really good parts, some really good sweepers, some really good defensive tools. My first biggest issue with it, ground types. You've got Zapdos. That's it.
I do agree heavily on the ground type issue, but I want to just pivot back a little bit because I sort of want to take a moment to sing the praises of Mega Bayonet a little, even though they might be unfounded.
Sing the praises.
I was going to say I had a good quote yesterday about Mega Bayonet, so I'll let you sing the praises first before I say my piece.
Yeah, no problem. I'm probably the only one that believes in this thing, but I personally feel, especially with the lineup of this team, Mega Bayonet actually has a potential chance to be scary, both as a pivot option and to pair with Roaring Moon, and the fact that Prankster Will-O-Wisp on it can actually potentially be quite threatening, especially if it gets that on something that would threaten Roaring Moon. That is at least my opinion. I also just think that high attack stat is going to really threaten some things, if it can get it off.
Okay.
And that's a big if, because it's got 64, 75, 83. And what I was saying yesterday with it is that it felt underwhelming when I used it in my first run of Oris with EXP share on. Which, like, that is a mon that on paper looks like it should not feel underwhelming in a playthrough of all things, but it just... I don't know. It just, like... If you're not clicking a priority move, it doesn't outspeed anything, and it doesn't take any hits, and you can't even, like, get it in easily. Like, yeah, you do have a lot of momentum on this team, which is, like, a nice thing of, like, potentially getting it in.
Yeah, you got really good momentum.
But, man, it's just, like, not my favorite thing ever here. The other thing, I don't love the captain. Well, for one, I'm just not a fan of the Klotzer at all.
I will say one more thing quickly.
Or this team in particular, because you do already have another water type.
I will say one last thing about Mega Banette. The best thing that Mega Banette can do is Prankster Destiny Bond and die and take something with it.
Yeah.
No, it does actually. All jokes aside, it does have a decent Prankster move, but it has horrible stats. No, I agree with these captains. I dig the Crocolar pick. If you were to keep these current captains, I would swap them, put Z, Klotzer, and Terra on Swampert. But honestly, Swampert loves its typing. Put the Terra on Florges.
I think you Terra Florges.
No, yeah. I agree. Z, Klotzer, and Terra Florges would make this team a lot better.
Then, I mean, to be fair, Mega Launcher doesn't then affect. I mean, like, I think Klotzer really likes having choice items.
Yeah, that's true.
And you won't get the Mega Launcher boost, so honestly, Z is not even that big of a boost to its damage.
Get it out
I'd like to see maybe a grass type instead of Klotzer.
I can see that, yeah. Welcome to the team, Cacturn. Wait.
Cacturn's wait, is Klotzer tier 5?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, delightful.
Welcome to the team, Cacturn. I mean, gives you a water immunity, gives you another ground resist, gives you a ghost resist, or another one.
And Cacturn's pretty happy to click, like, a Z move, I think, because it...
A slight ice and ground... Oh, no, you already had a ground weakness. It gives you a slight ice weakness. I don't think it's too bad, though.
I mean, that does patch up the ground weakness at least a tiny bit.
Yeah. Especially with Z on it. Z Leaf Storm sounds really good. Although, talking about, like, as I talk about these lower parts of this team, I have this team very, very, very highly rated. I think the core and a lot of the, like, the Crocolore as a defensive mon is pretty good. Caparajah, I think, is pretty solid. It gets Heat Crash and Heavy Metal and Heavy Slam. I think it's
Yeah,
really
how many
good.
times did Heat Crash catch people off guard last season?
Yeah, Lex.
It caught me off guard.
It got both of us off guard. That almost killed my Tinkaton.
I had this team really. I actually had this team rated 5th, so I had it right below Maggie.
That's actually exactly where I was gonna put it. I was gonna put it between you two.
Okay.
I think Maggie's team is like almost S tier. I think Maggie is like right below Hannah.
I agree.
So I think Foe goes right in between you two.
I agree.
Yeah, I see that.
All right then. Yeah, no, it's a solid team. Some parts may change, but I think it's pretty damn good. Moving on to Tim, Pokecraft's team. This team has declared their captains. I don't know why I have them on. Don't not have them on there. Give me 1 second.
Yeah, Z captain for Jolteon, and yeah.
I'm going to call this the most banned team that we have in the league. So the team is Iron Valiant, Gliscor, Garganacl, Mega Sharpedo, Jolteon, Revavroom, Drampa, Metacham, Banette, and Hypno, with Z Jolteon and Terra, Banette, and Hypno, with the Terras being Ghost Fairy and Normal on Banette, and Psychic Steel Fairy on Hypno. This is a team. Let's talk about the defensive mons first.
I actually really like the Gliscor Garganacl combo, but it does leave you.
Like it.
That's what I wanted to
water.
bring up, because I think this team can absolutely play an insane grind game with just Gliscor and Garganacl, and then just go for a late game sweep with either Sharpedo or Valiant, honestly.
Yeah. Even Metacham, like Bullet Punch, can actually like be...
The one thing, I feel like Valiant and Sharpedo, like, if you look at their stat spreads, they're very similar. Like, obviously they have different, like, coverages.
Yeah.
But, like, stats-wise, they're so similar.
Oh. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, I see what you mean, yeah. Huh. Oh my god. Wait, yeah. It's like a less bulky version. So, I want to clarify one thing real quick. When I said this is the most banned team, here's how it's banned. Iron Valley can't use Booster and also can't use Hypnosis. Jolteon can't use Terra. Revavroom can't use Terra. Oh, wait, actually, important thing. This team has actually changed. Sorry, not Metacham, it's Frostmoth.
Yeah.
They made that change. Frostmoth can't Terra. That's it.
Also Terra banned,
Yeah. So you have 3 of your 4 tier 3s and 4s are Terra banned. Yeah,
I think that's kind of a flaw, honestly.
Yeah.
I think that's something to like keep in mind when you make your team. Is like I don't think this team makes use of its captain slots at all.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Because it really can't. I'd like to see some like possible like Terra abusing tier 5s, and these are not them. I think these are like probably 2 of the worst possible Pokemon you could pick.
I will say I think you have good physically defensive tools for sure on this team. I think both Valiant, as we were saying, Valiant, Garganacl, and even Frostmoth in place of Metagam can be like good late game sweepers. You've got a lot of great utility, like a lot of taunters, some good spikers and rockers, some pivots. Not the best hazard removal though, because you're stuck. I believe you're stuck.
And this team also just dies to any special attacker.
Yeah, you're very specially frail. I mean, what your best special defensive mon is Hypno, I think.
Yeah, and Hypno's not a real Pokemon.
Also, this team's really weak to Fairy. Your only Fairy resistance is Revavroom, which is like, okay. No, thank you. Honestly, you know what's a weird change I'd suggest for this team? I think this team needs a good bulky water type over Sharpedo.
I mean, I don't hate the Sharpedo because it does give you like a win con, but it's so similar to Valiant.
With how similar Valiant is, I'd like to see one of them swap for like another bulky Pokemon. Like, even honestly,
I won't lie, I would kind of like to see one of the tier 3s swap for a bulky water.
Yeah, so like, Jellicent
I mean, does this team need Jolteon?
No, I think Jellicent could be a really good one. Really good Terramon as well.
Oh,
really good.
Yeah, like okay, so drop Jolteon, drop Bayonet, pick up Terra
Jellicent.
Pick up Terra Jellicent, and then like you can just find another tier 5. What are you missing? You're missing a fire type.
I know, or actually, yeah, that could really help. I was gonna say like keep that fast electric type. You can get Boltund.
Yeah, you could pick. Then you could do Z Boltund.
Yeah.
which is one that like does not hate running Z. You also have Flareon in tier 5, which is another fairly decent Terra option.
I think it's actually a really good Terra option.
So here's drop Hypno and throw Flareon on there.
I dig it. I think you still have an issue, but like it gives you another fairy resist. Jellicent gives you like that special wall. And trust me, it is 100, like 110, 105, 100, 105. It can definitely do the job.
And then on the physical side, it's got Will-O-Wisp and Strength Sap.
It's so good. You've seen that, Lada. No, yeah, I think it's really good. I strongly recommend that poke. I would recommend these moves for Tim. I will say, what do we feel about Frostmoth over Medicham? I can kind of see the appeal of it.
Frostmoth is a mon that can at least do something.
Yeah.
Medicham, like with Mega, is like not a real Pokemon, especially in tier 4. I think it probably should have been a tier 5.
Yeah, no, I will say I know Tim has been a long time fan of Mega Medicham. Big believer in it. This is not Mega Medicham.
Unfortunately, regular Medicham is not Mega.
Yeah.
And so.
No. So.
Yeah, I like Jellicent here because like Sharpedo is a water type, but it's not really a water type because it's not using that type defensively.
Yeah, I would like to try and get a rapid spin on this team, especially with the chemistry.
I do like Revavroom. I'm a big Revavroom believer because that thing gets shift here. It gets parting shot as well.
It doesn't get U-turn though, despite being a car.
Yes, well, it's because U-turning is illegal in some times at some points, and Revavroom wouldn't do anything illegal. Also, Filter is just such a good ability.
It is. I would love to see though. I would really love to see a rapid spinner on this team as well. Like, I think a rapid spinner would really help this team, especially with how much hazard control you want through Pokemons. Yeah, especially because you do have that spin blocker in Jellicent. I don't know if there's an undrafted tier 5 spin block or tier.
I was gonna say there might be a tier 4 one.
They get rid of
tier 4. You're looking at something like Delmise.
You already have the
Tatsugiri.
Ooh, that's a third water though.
I was gonna say yeah, it's a third water, but you could theoretically not pick up the Jellicent even though it's a good Pokemon.
Pick up a different Pokemon, really bulky defensive, especially defensive mon. But like, what we're trying to say is or you could ditch Revavroom for Cyclizar. Yeah,
you could do that too.
We were just talking Revavroom's praise, but like, ooh, never mind, maybe not.
Well, because you have Drampa, so you'd want to drop Drampa.
I think you keep Revavroom no matter what, just because of that fairy.
Yeah, no, I agree. But like what we're trying to say is there's a few changes that could definitely make this team a lot better. But I don't necessarily hate it in its current form.
I don't hate it. I would probably say this team is top of C.
Yeah, so I had it 9th overall. I had it mid of B, actually.
Oh, interesting. I think outside of its defensive core, I think this team, especially on the special side, this team has a big, massive hole, and both of your main offensive mods kind of do the same thing.
That is true. However, we have to consider there is an Iron Valiant.
There is Iron Valiant, but I don't think it's better than Ellie's team, or Guy's team, or Jommy's team, or Nate's team.
Okay, so above Bacon's?
Yeah, I would say like top of C
agree
tier.
With both perspectives, but honestly, there's a real cheese element to this team, I feel, with the fact that it could theoretically win a really good grind game. That makes me just feel it's slightly on the same level as Ellie and Guys, but I may just be coping.
I mean, I could see it bumped up to B tier, but it would still be bottom of B tier. I think it would still be below Guy and Ellie.
I agree with that bottom of B tier.
Like, it's either, like, the very top... Like, really, placement doesn't change. For me, it's either top of C or bottom of B. Like, it's still the same placement, it's just what like,
I'll put it
letter do you want attached to it.
Like, I think it is the best of the teams in that tier.
That's very fair.
Like, I think just this team has such a big specially defensive like weakness.
All right, moving on then. I agree. I think that it needs that special defensive. I think it's like a B, even maybe A tier team if it gets that if it solves the Sharpedo Valiant issue, and then gets bulky special mon, and I think it's like a really solid team.
Going on to, I think, is this the last team that is not declared captains? The one we're going into?
No, it has declared captains.
Oh, Saya has?
Yes, he has.
Okay. I don't have them on my sheet.
Neither.
Yeah, I do, because I told him what to pick. So Saya's team is Darkrai, Latias, Nidoking, Scizor, Gastrodon, Mega Sceptile, Electivire, Turtonator, Hitmonchan, and Stunfisk Galar. And Lex, I think we have our first D tier team.
Oh, I mean, honestly, I think Darkrai's kind of a fraud mon.
So
let's talk about positives first.
No. Before we talk about positives, let's talk about third pick overall Mega Sceptile.
Third pick Mega Sceptile.
Third pick Mega Sceptile. No, but there's some stuff really good. I think the Terra Captains are actually pretty damn good. I think they both get really good mileage.
I am a big Terra Electivire fan, and I do think I like the Terra Turtonator as well. Also, this team...
other types. It's a Z Turtonator, but it's Terra Electric Grass Water Electivire, and then Dragon Fairy Water Turtonator, third pick Mega Sceptile, and then Z Hitmonchan.
And then also this team, electric types cannot do anything to this.
No, yeah, they cannot. They really are really shot out. I think Sai has some really good strong damage dealers like Scizor, Latias, Nidoking, Darkrai, third pick Mega Sceptile. They can really hurt opponents. Also, hazard options are not bad here. At all.
No, Gastrodon and Nidoking are both very happy to run both of the options they have access to. And Stunfisk Galar, I mean, doesn't have any moves. Does it really have a move other than Stealth Rock it wants to run?
Earthquake.
Yeah, it's got Earthquake, Iron Head.
No, and then with third pick Mega Sceptile, I mean, you also have two really good defoggers. I mean, Latias doesn't mind running it.
Third pick Mega Sceptile is also I think the second fastest Pokemon in the format that's been drafted.
Oh, that's been drafted, maybe.
I think it's up there, yeah.
Because I think only Nijask is faster.
Oh, yeah, so it's tied for second.
Because I don't think either the Electrodes got drafted, and Regieleki went undrafted.
Yeah. And then the Speed didn't get drafted either. Third pick Mega Sceptile. And then we also have the Rapid Spin mons. They don't mind running Rapid Spin either. Like Hitmontop and Hitmonchan and Turtonator. They can definitely find spots in the move pool for it, and I think that's really good. So it gives you really good.
I do like Hitmonchan as a Z captain, but can also pretty easily run AV. I feel as well if it wants to be more defensive.
So that I think it gives it a little bit more versatility. I think the big issue with it is that it's not got a real ability compared to the other Hitmons, its brothers.
Mm-hmm.
Hitmonlee loves Unburden, and Hitmontop loves both Technician and Intimidate. Yeah, third pick Mega Sceptile.
Yeah, so honestly, here's the
issues of this team.
So number one, I think Darkrai is a fraud as a 2-0. I'm sorry. As someone who's using it right now, it's kind of a fraud.
Number two.
I want to at least say I like Darkrai in combination with Latias, but I think that's the only positive of Darkrai in this team.
Darkrai, Latias.
Yeah.
And, speaking of
it's also got a good speed tier, but you don't really even need it because you have a Mega Sceptile.
Yeah, you have third pick Mega Sceptile.
Uh-huh.
Overall, I think one of my biggest issues with the team. You know how you said that ground types aren't doing anything to this team.
I said electric types aren't, but ice types are.
To this team. Yeah, no.
There's no reason to ever bring an electric type
because there's three fucking ground types and two Pokemon with ground immune abilities. Saya, what are you doing? And then that's not even talking about the three dragon types, including third pick Mega fucking Sceptile. Oh my god!
Lex, I don't think she likes the third pick Mega Sceptile.
And you know what I would like to see on this team instead of a Darkrai?
Another dragon type? Another ground type?
I'd like to see a horse.
Spectre?
Yeah,
Actually,
I would
no.
like Spectre or a
No,
lot more
actually,
here.
wait. Thank you for bringing me, like, on that topic of 3 grounds and 3 dragon types. Man, this team really needs Mega Garchomp. What do you guys think? No,
Well, you can only have one Mega, so...
Oh, that's true. Good point. I guess get rid of third pick Mega Sceptile.
Or even like Urshifu. I'd like to see either a horse or a bear, like Urshifu single.
No, my issue with this team is there is no fairy types and no ghost types.
Yeah. So
Also,
you know what we can put in
actually,
there? We can put in a
like to
horse.
see-
You know how we talked about
I would love to see Urshifu single strike here over Darkrai. That would just like that'd be a moi, because then your big all your threats here outside of Electivire are special. Like literally, this team is very special focused on like its faster or threats.
I will say.
Yeah, this is Tim's worst nightmare in a team.
Yeah. No, I will say, I do think the defensive mods are also questionable on this team. It's like Gastrodon, Scizor, and Latios.
I mean, I like all 3 of those mons in a
No, I
vacuum.
do, but like I feel like they are the most reliable of the you're like okay, and you got my defensive mons. It's these 3. Like every battle, it's like, are you sure about that? Like,
You know who I don't like?
third pick Mega Sceptile.
I don't like Nidoking.
No, I agree. I think Nidoking is really out of place. I think if you wanted a poison type, there's better options. Also, there's so many share weaknesses. So many fairy, ice, ground, and dragon resist.
Speaking,
If you wanted to get a horse, you could pick up an Overquill. Or you could pick up like an Okidogi.
Nidoking, you could honestly grab Okidogi here and grab a fighting type that way as well.
Yeah, and then
Different
you could drop the
fighting type that way.
Hitmonchan.
Yeah. I think this team needs a fairy.
However,
type.
I mean, because the Doki gives you, although the Doki...
You know what mod might actually be really good for this team, though? How do I feel? What about Gyarados? Like, you have so many counters to electric types, but you have no Pokemon that are weak to electric to, like, balance with it.
That was
Yeah, I'd like to see.
like,
I'd
on
like to
my
see a
note list as
Gyarados.
well, because like Electivire's premier use when it was first introduced was literally being a switch in to protect Gyarados, which just made Gyarados look even more appealing on this team, honestly.
And I think that D-Dance Gyarados would pair really well with third pick Mega Sceptile for like an offensive core. But like,
leave the Sceptile alone, Julia.
I don't like. Actually, that's not. I don't like the Mega Sceptile because of how many other dragon types that are specially attacking are on this team.
No, I get you. I get you.
If Latios wasn't there, I would have no issue with Mega Sceptile. But Latios is right below it. Like, there's too many dragons.
And so
there's
what if we dropped Latios? What would happen then?
We pick up a fairy type?
We could pick up... What's in Tier 1 Fairy? There's like... I mean, we could get a Defensive Water. There's a Tapu Fini there if we didn't want to pick up the Gyarados.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, there's...
Other fairies, you could pick up a Clefable and just be the worst person known to man.
Oh, perfect! Wait, that's actually a perfect Pokemon! Wait, you're so true. This team's also so fucking weak to ground, though. Because you have Nidoking, Stunfisk...
Well, you know what? Guess what fixes that? Gyarados.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah!
Let's see. How does the team look with, instead of Nidoking, Latios, Clefable, Gyarados?
And then, like, Urshifu single instead of Darkrai? Or even just Spectrier instead of Darkrai as well, but
I like
Urshifu gives
Spectre
you, like,
for
another
giving us that
typical...
ghost type. Also, Juan
Yeah.
is, like, kind of fucking terrifying. I'd rather have better fighting type with it, though, actually. Oh my god, doesn't it look so much better?
Although now you have no... Let's see, you have no Psychic, no Poison, no Ice, no Dark.
Yeah.
So I guess you just gotta drop Stunfisk at that point, you know?
Oh no, what shall we do?
And you know what, honestly, dropping Stunfisk for a normal Stunfisk just feels better on paper. Granted, that is another ground type.
Is there any poisons in Tier 5 that are like real Pokemon, or are they all fake?
Ariados. It has webs.
It does, but
It's
is
a
it
Viper.
real?
It's not real. Ooh. No, Garbodor's tier 4.
Arbok. Let's get Intimidate.
Arbok could be slightly real.
Now we have flying. There's issues with this team. I don't have the brain capacity to figure out how to fix third pick Mega Sceptile. Hang on, give me a second. I'm changing Saya's name in the Discord to that. This team.
Yeah, I could see this team honestly. Like this team, just I don't know if this team can gets a win.
I think out of everything we talked about, this is the most deserving of a D tier.
Like there are just issues.
So,
like if you fix this
team, D tier as a fucking joke, but like. Maybe.
Like if you fix this team, you kind of have to drop like over half of it.
Do we put this team in
if you have to
D-tier
drop
out of
over,
spite?
if you have to fix, I don't even think it's out of spite. I think if you have to drop more than half of a team to fix it, there's a problem.
I will say, in my
Yeah,
original
legitimately,
tier
this
list-
is like as bad as like my lads team, where you have to drop so much of it to make
I
it
will
functional.
say, I originally had this at top of C tier, but the more I look at it, the more I hate it. Yeah, no, I agree. Darkrai has been on fraud watch for me. I think the issue with Darkrai is more of it needs a boost, and then, but it's so
It also
frail.
needs sleep.
Yeah, and sleep's banned on Darkrai. Important to note.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even really have an ability because of the restrictions it has to have.
So do we put this D tier?
I think this is the top of D tier.
Third pick Mega Sceptile in D tier. Moving on, because I'm losing it. 13's left. We have Storm's team,
Okay.
which they have added their captains since. You can tell I made this last night. Actually,
You're welcome.
I made like 2 nights
You're welcome.
ago.
I had to nudge them, as you saw.
Yeah, I respect it. Alright, so this is Storm's team. So Storm's team is Dracovish, Megatitar, Empoleon, Grimmsnarl, Kilowattrel, Toadscroll, Cofagrigus, Mantine, Alcremane, and Swalot, with Z Kilowattrel and Terra Mantine. Mantine is Terra's for... Oh, I never even put this on the dock. That tells you how long it's been.
Water flying ground.
Thank you. Which I like these. I will say, I like those Terra types. I really do.
Yeah, I think Mantine could go double stab.
Yeah,
And then
I
ground
think
obviously for the...
ground gets rid of that.
I
like,
love ground on this.
Also, with water absorb, it's kind of fine.
Yeah.
Like really.
So a lot of things. So this team is another sand team, but this is a much less harsh sand team.
I would say this is
like
a better sand team because it's not got 4 rock types.
It's a sand team with 1 rock and 1 ground and 1 steel. But that's because your actual like real like mon is a little Dracovish. Also, Parker could totally pick up Draco Zolt now that it's
he
back on the
could.
menu.
I will say the other thing I really like about this team, your Sandmon actually abuses sand itself. In T-Tar.
Yeah.
In Mega T-Tar. No, I think Mega T-Tar is actually like really strong. I mean, look at that: 100, 164, 150, 120. It's.
Also, I think Alchemy is probably one of the best tier 5s.
I agree.
I actually think Swalot is also like kind of a real Pokemon with
Black
Sticky Hold
Sludge,
and
Sticky Hold, especially without Terra, so it's like it can always safely run Black Sludge.
you can also do Rocky Helmet Sticky Hold.
Oh, so true.
It makes it a like really funny knockoff switch in.
I think Grimmsnarl. So this team actually did originally have Draco Zolt, I think, but like it was picked in the intention to switch it. Later, once we realized, oh wait, you can just pick Dracovish instead.
Yeah. So I mean, you do have Grimmsnarl is a little weird because you do have another rock and another fairy, but like Grimmsnarl is also just really good.
Yeah, I mean, I think
And like
with
Dracovish behind
I
screens
remember,
is like so good.
I hear you say Dracovish behind screens, but can we think about Mega T-Tar behind screens?
And yeah, Mega T-Tar behind screens as well, and Empoleon behind
That
screens.
is ultimately like the thing that, like, I was talking to Storm when discussing like the potential Dracozolt switches, and like that's ultimately what sold me on them taking Grimmsnarl, because like I was kind of shocked Grimmsnarl got through the draft to begin with.
Oh
Yeah, I think
and-
it's so good.
Yeah, it's
And
such a
like
good
you do
And
have a
as
fairy
well, there's
weakness,
just the
but
fact that
Empoleon is
it
such a
provides-
good fairy resist.
And it provides some really nice protection for T-Tar and Vish, as you both said.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I strongly agree.
And you do have 2 ice weaknesses, but once again, Empoleon is a really good
I-
ice resist.
I was like, yeah, you could usually use another ice resist, but Empoleon, like, I think Empoleon is like the unsung hero of this draft. It is a poster bulky water steel type and steel type. It's so good at both of them. It gets Roost, it gets Defog. It's scary for Defoggers to click Defog against because of Scald.
Yep.
It gets Flip Turn, it gets Rocks itself. It can run offensive. It's so good.
The one thing I'm a little concerned about is I don't know if I love Z-Kilo because I think it probably likes roots.
I can
But obviously, it's Terra.
Mhm.
But I mean, you can launch like Z Hurricanes off of it or Z Thunder if you want to be like extra damage, or you can just do like Thunderbolt or Air Slash if you wanted consistent moves after you clicked your Z move.
I will say, I think it's going to go kind of unnoticed. I think Kilowatt Troll and Empoleon kind of pair really well together.
Oh yeah, they're very good because Empoleon is weak to what? Fighting and electric, and
And
Kilowatt Troll
ground.
resists or is immune, and ground, yeah.
And
And
Kilowatt
then
Troll
Kilo
is weak to ice
is weak
and
to
rock.
which Empoleon loves to eat.
Yeah. You
And they both have momentum as well because they have flip turn and volt switch.
I think the only criticism that really comes to my mind with this team is the fact that you do have little fairy weak. Both your carries are weak to fairy, but I think that kind of rhymes. But like
You have an Empoleon.
yeah, you have Empoleon. You even have Swalot. Like
And even like Ice Weak, you have some ice weaknesses, but you have an Empoleon.
yeah,
You have 3 water types, but
I agree with the 3 water
every
types
water
could be an
type does
issue.
like something different.
No, none of them. I don't think the only weakness any of them share is electric between Mantine and Empoleon. That's it.
Empoleon, but then you have a Volt Absorb mod and a ground type.
And that's why I genuinely think it's fine. Yeah. So I haven't even talked about the actual like pros and cons I have this team, which are the pros are it's extremely offensive mons and strong special walls, and you've got Hazard Kings, great centers and removers, and Empoleon can punish them, which we did say. Here are the cons. You have a sand team. A lot of these Pokemon, they don't like the chip, and I think that can actually kind of hurt the team. You do have some great mons that do abuse the sand, but you have some great your mons who will definitely struggle in it. I was going to say, actually, I had Zakan some confusing captain options, but I think she chose really good captains for. I was just literally saying, oh, Mantine could be a good captain, and I think the types are excellent for it.
Yeah, I like the Mantine, and like I can get Z-Kilo, especially because it is Terra Band.
Yeah, and I feel like I don't necessarily dig it on the Z for Toadstool anyway. So yeah, wait.
Yeah, I feel like if you were to go with another Z captain here, you're ultimately just like picking something because you have to.
Yeah.
Could one of you guys? I need to check something real quick. I'm pulling up a showdown profile. Could one of you guys like get on a anything goes battlefield real quick? I have one.
Yeah, let me pop in.
Not to,
You want me to just throw like a random mod on a team?
yeah. Let's do Nadex AG. I want to test something with Toad Scroll. Pick a slow mon.
Okay, so not the Oxus Speed,
Something slower.
which
than
is
Toad
literally the
Scroll.
first. Okay.
Just grab like Torkoal.
I have a Clodsire here.
Oh, perfect.
Alright, send me a challenge.
You're on Glyphical?
Yeah.
So, basically, I will say, because I don't have this on the screen share, the thing I am testing is, if I'm not mistaken, is something to do with the priority of Z moves.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is it with Mycelium Might?
It is. Use Arya needs to make this change right fucking now.
Wait, Z moves get around?
Z moves ignore priority changes.
Okay, then yeah, that is actually a
Um,
very considerable change then.
Yeah, Z Spore gets around Myceliumite.
Do we ban this? No, I don't think so.
I
It's
think
too
it's a
late
bit
to
late
ban
for a
it, and it's a
ban on
once
that,
per battle
even though it
thing.
is
No,
kinda
exactly.
busted.
I was about to say it's once per battle. It's a once per battle, and like you're using your item slot for it. I don't think it's bannable. But if Arya does this tech, it is the most awesome thing ever. Like, oh my god.
That's actually insane.
No, it
I didn't think that's how that worked.
No, this is like genuinely awesome to learn. So yeah, I guess because I don't have this on the screen share, I have this in a separate tab. Basically, my student might lowers the priority of your like your hazard moves or your status moves, but with Z moves they reset to 0 priority. So Mycelium Might always goes first. Wait, Lex, can you just click another move? I want to see if like Spore will still continue to go second. Wait. What did you click?
Oh, I clicked counter.
Oh, click a different move. Yeah, okay. So yeah, no, it literally just...
Hey, let's try this. Wait, let's try this again. Make sure I didn't click counter the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be important to check.
Yeah, set it again. I'll click something different. I don't think I clicked counter, but let's try it again.
Okay, yeah. Important testing is being done. And then we'll get into the ranking of Storm's team. Okay, it does not. So, that is important to note. Never mind, false alarm. This would have been incredible, but...
Instead, I get a crit body slam.
Yeah. Okay. We've tested everything we need to. That's a shame. That would have been really cool.
Yeah, Z... I guess you get Z Kilo.
Yeah, Z Kilo is probably better than, actually.
Z Spore, but
it's
slow.
a good thing we double-checked that.
Yeah. No, it really is. So I have this team in lower B tier. I don't know about where you guys would have it.
I mean, I feel like we were just singing praises about this team, so it feels silly to put it in low B.
I'm not gonna lie,
Low
I
A?
actually would... I kind of think this is like a high B, low A area. I would put this above
I was gonna say,
I.
I was gonna say, like, my initial thought is putting this right below Andro.
I agree. It's a team that, like, I think when I was doing my first review, I was also kind of, like, steaming through it. But the more I look at it, the more I like it. And
it's like just a question. I think this is, like, very similar to Andro's team, where they're weather teams that don't rely full on their weather.
Mm-hmm.
I do think Andro's team is slightly... Is this team better than Andro? No, because Heat Train Landers is still so good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Right below. Bottom A.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Moving on, we have 2 teams left. We're nearly there. So we have Violet's team, which is Chen Pao, Galarian Slowking, Hisuian Arcanine, Suicune, Heracross, Klefki, Miss Magius, Virizion, Piloswine, and Rotom Fan. Violet has brought back 2 Pokemon from last season, being Hisuian Arcanine and Miss Magius. And the captains on this team, it is Fighting Dark and Normal Terra Heracross. It is Ground, Water, Fire, Piloswine, and Z Captain Rotom Fan. I like this team. I will say that off the bat. I think this team is really strong. I had it in A tier before we go any further.
What were Heracross's Terra types one more time?
Fighting, Dark, and Normal. The only one I don't really get is the Dark. I guess for like Throat Chop to do with Psychics, but like I would like.
You know what I would like to see instead?
Poison.
I would like to see Terra Rock.
Ooh, interesting.
Gives you stab on Rock
I'm
Blast.
with that.
This doesn't get Skill Link.
No, but you can run you can run Loaded Dice.
Loaded Dice like Moxie, Trailblaze, Pin Missile, Rock Blast, Close Combat.
Yeah.
I dig it. Yeah, okay, I can see that. Yeah, no, I can see that for sure, yeah. So I think the big thing...
and also Rock resists flying as well.
Yeah. I will say, I think the pros of this team is you have such strong physical attackers. Hisuian Arcanine with like Choice Band Rockhead or even Choice Scarf Rockhead. Flare Blitz Head Smash is disgusting. Heracross is so good with either Guts or Moxie. And then we have Chen Pao, which I saved for last potentially. It's so scary with like Swords Dance stats or even Band or Scarfed to like outspeed everything.
Yeah.
Really,
I
good mon.
yeah. On the special side, it's like not
It's
there really at all.
Calm Mind, Suicune, and like offensive G King, which I don't really dig. That's one of my cons for sure. I also think
I do like slow. I like Galarian Slowking Qianpao because it's like
oh my
you
God,
get the
it's so
you get the
good.
defense boost and you
Yeah.
get the like slow pivot into it.
I will
So it's
say
like it's not even a snow team. It's just like a very mild like snow
you also have some
set.
really good like specially tanky mons like Slowking and Rotom Fan, even Virizion, which is like all it's
Oh yeah,
Plus,
Suicune. Like
while
yeah.
play reception is available for Qianpao, you mentioned the pivot. It also just has as teleport as well if you wanted to run
it
that
does not
instead.
actually.
Ooh.
Wait, it doesn't? Okay.
Galarian Slowking does not have teleport.
That's actually
Okay.
good. No, I thought it did. I think also you just do have really good utility with like Klefki and then the pivots from Galarian Slowking and the spikes from Galarian Slowking, the T spikes, and then spikes from
Yeah.
Klefki.
I don't like that your only defog is Klefki and Rotom Fan.
Yeah,
especially
I really
Klefki
dislike
is like
that.
one of your best hazard setters.
Especially because like if it Klefki, it's like are you not running screens, you're not running spikes. Rotom Fan can find room for it, but that means you have to bring Rotom Fan.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably like to see one of your tier 4s as a captain instead of Rotom Fan and Piloswine, because I think Miss Maggie and Virizion both could really like the Z boost for that extra damage.
Yeah, I agree.
Heracross does not want to be a Z captain because it absolutely wants its item for either Loaded Dice or Flame Orb.
I will say,
or even Vest.
I don't like the fire for Piloswine for Terra. It makes it super resistant to fire and ice moves, which I think is why, but like I still just don't dig it. My other issue,
I'd rather just not have the Terra on it or the Z on Rotom Fan anyway, because I think Rotom Fan wants to run Boots like all the time or Choice Scarf.
what about Air Balloon?
I don't think it needs that.
I think it does.
I would like to I think Virizion is such a bad mon. Personally, I hate Virizion.
No, there's no grass type on this team. I think Virizion is a fake Pokemon.
Yeah.
Like, especially because both of your fighting types are quad weak to flying.
I didn't even think about that. You're right. Yeah, no, that's a big issue on this team.
Like, I would like to. I mean, to be fair, like Heracross should probably Terra out the Terra Rock. Like, if it has it should have Terra Rock. I get normal for Facade, and obviously you gotta have a stab type. I would love to see Terra Rock on this. Because it's defensive and offensive, so it gets you both things at once for you.
Yeah.
But yeah, Virizion should probably... Virizion or Miss Maggie should probably have Z. I would say probably Virizion, because Miss Maggie can at least like function as a real Pokemon without it.
Yeah. Let's look at...
I would just like to see Virizion gone.
I agree. Fuck, that Pokemon so bad.
Yeah.
I will say, I said I have it in A tier. What do you guys think? I think the like top tiers of this team, like the good parts of this team, are just so good.
Yeah, I could see that. I don't know if this is better than Andro or Storm's team.
I'm sort of a similar opinion, and I'm not gonna lie. Something about Hisui and Arcanine doesn't click with me on this team. I don't know why. I think maybe it's just the fact that it's probably running Rockhead every time. Him just worries me. But
So I'm looking at your
do
original
acknowledge
tier
it
list.
is
You had it bottom A. I'm actually gonna put it pretty much in the same spot. So I'm gonna put it top of B, right above Nate.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll move down Nate and
agreed.
Jommy. All right. And yeah, I agree with that, top of B. And here is our last team of the night. Oh my god, we're here. We're finally here. Zach's team.
And we get to be faced with...
Overpod Bellspring, Iron Moth, Mega Beedrill, Glamora, Gardevoir, Driftblim, Electros, Regice, Crocorock, and Mighty Anna. Now you see, Maggie, if there's anybody I should say would to, it's Gardevoir. I can't do this shit. It's Terra, Gardevoir, it's Z...
I don't know.
Or, wait,
Can you imagine things you could do with Regice?
I just said it's Terra, Gardevoir, Z, Regice. No, I'm talking. It's
At least multiple people in IPL have named Glamora Buttplug.
It's Z Gardevoir, Terra, Regice, Ice, Electric, and Water. let's not speed run this, but like let's jump into it. So
There's a lot of poison types.
yeah.
There is. Now, granted, like, I think at least 2 of those poison types are good.
Yeah. Oh, I know you hate Mega Beetroot.
I am Mega Beedrill's
I'm-
#1 hater.
I'm with you, Lex. I think Mega Beedrill is low-key a fraud in tier 2.
Oh, it's not even low. Like, I dropped it in a draft when I had it as a tier 3.
Oh my god. I didn't even know you had it that low.
I don't blame you. I think it's a high speed stat, high attack, and then it just dies.
Like, so in DIJ, I dropped this for a Terra low kicks, and I never looked back.
Oh, we've seen
Because
what
I can
Terra
run
Low
boots.
Kicks can do.
Literally,
I will
it's
say-
just because I get boots.
I will say, holy shit, this is an offense team.
Yep, that's. I mean, it's a Zach team. Like,
Mhm.
you could just send this team to me, and I'd be able to tell you who drafted this.
Yeah.
I do love the Terra Reg Ice.
I agree. I think that's really nice. I think you have some really, really strong, powerful offense with like Ogre Spring, Iron Moth, Beedrill, even Gardevoir and Glamora. You have really good hazard control with, hazards with Glamora, basically guaranteeing you get T spikes. It's really good, like suicide lead.
Yeah, essentially you play 5v6, but you get all your hazards up by
Yeah.
turn 2.
I mean, that's how we used to play.
And
back
then
in,
you
like,
just-
Gen 6.
Yeah, I mean, like, that's how I used to play. Like, when I played UU, I led with Destiny Bond, Spore, Sticky Web, Stealth Rock, Smeargle.
Oh, one of the big. It's like you go Fortress, you go Sturdy, you go Custap Berry, you click Protect turn 1 to avoid fake outs, then you Stealth Rocks, and then you go to 1 HP, and then you explode.
It's beautiful. That's how you play the game.
You sometimes take a kill because you get the Custap Berry priority. It works so well. Yeah, but you have strong eyes, and I think you do have some really good pivots. There's some really good U-turn mons too. Some really good Volt Switch mons.
I like Z Gardevoir.
I do. I think it gives it like a really strong nuke. So this is a really
Because it's
good-
not really, like, married to any items.
Yeah. It usually
Honestly,
looks
I just want to
strong.
see Mega Beedrill gone.
So let's talk about the bad of
Same.
this team. 3 fucking poison types.
And I
And
think
2 of your
that
poison,
has
so
actually
2 of your
affected
poison
the
types are
build.
also weak to rocks.
The build is affected very heavily because of the 3 poison types. You've had to draft like 2 dark types to make up for it as well.
2 shit
and-
dark types.
Yeah.
Like, let's see, what's a tier 2 dark you could pick up? Oh, you know what you could pick up? Mega Gyarados.
Oh, how lovely.
yes.
Wait, yeah, that keeps the offense. This team is also weirdly really weak to water. It just has Ogerpon as a resist.
There's your Mega Gyarados.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't
Additionally,
like green being your
like
only
Mega
water
Gyarados
resist.
also just gives you a one-time intimidate as well. If you're like, since you can just switch into the normal Gyarados. At
I
least
don't
once.
like this team has 2 tier 5 intimidate dark types. Like,
Yeah, and
it
you had to
tells-
pick that up because you drafted 3 poisons.
Yeah, I disliked how Leah had the 2 high tier grass types, and I disliked the 3 high tier poison types for this. It feels like a waste. It really does. I know Zach was saying he felt like
Yeah.
got Mega Beedrill for pretty free in tier 2, but like I kind of disagree. Like
I disagree heavily. I think it is a mon I would only consider picking up in tier 4.
I think. Oh my god. I think it's super hard to.
I don't know. I don't think I would ever draft it. I just
I
despise
think
that
it's
mon.
super easy to back around. That's my big issue with it.
Yeah, it's not good in draft. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a surprise factor, Mon, and it doesn't get to be a surprise in draft.
No, yeah, I agree with all of that. My other big issue with this team, you're lacking hazard removal. You have
Yeah.
2 defoggers.
But
Sorry,
I mean,
you have
like, you
1
could pick up
defogger.
something
You have 1
because we should be
defogger.
drafting. Yeah, because
If
you
you are
should be
using-
dropping Mega Beedrill.
Well, it's like Mega Beedrill is not adding defog to its moveset anyways. Like,
No.
and
If
like-
you are, there's a problem.
and I talked about
You
how,
know what?
like,
Here's
the
how you.
pivot
Would you like a
range-
different? Honestly, you know what this team could like? I think you could pick up a Smeargle.
Fuck it, let's ball. We ball.
Look, there's your
Smeargle-
You're not
suicide
wrong, I
meter. You
actually
didn't want
think
Glamora?
This team would really like Smeargle.
I will say I'd rather keep Croc Rock actually over Mightyena.
Mightyena? I agree, because you can at least Eviolite, and it has the chance to be a Moximon.
Yeah,
Hmm.
And I think it gets D-Dance too, right?
yeah. Wait, what? They
Yeah,
don't have
but like,
Smeargle and,
throw.
Yeah, no. Like,
Smeargle gives you sticky webs. You know, you can click Spore
Gives
on
you a
something.
rapid
You can
spinner.
Destiny Bond. Gives you a rapid
You
spinner.
got
There you
Zephyr's
go.
Edge.
it gets spore. Yeah, it's like. But like this team is so.
You can do anything with Smeargle.
So water weak, pretty rock weak as well. Oh my god, it's very rock weak.
Yeah, that's because 2 of your poison types are a bug type and a fire type.
And I don't think Iron Moth really. I mean, Iron Moth is a good specialty, but like I don't think it doesn't do anything for like the speed tiers of this team.
And like, I want to comment on the ground case as well. Like, sure, you've got 2 immunities under resist, but still, you have 3 poison types that do not want to take a ground type move no matter what.
No, because even though Mega Beedrill is neutral, Mega Beedrill
Now,
is
I actually really like Iron Moth as a tier 1.
No,
I think
I
Iron
do.
Moth
I
is
think
a
Iron
really
Moth is
good
really good.
tier 1 pickup. And I like Ogrepon as well, but the issue is that they're both at 110.
I would like them both if they weren't together. Here's the thing, though. I have this in B tier. Bottom of B tier. Because
I mean,
I think this team is still kind of scary. Like, just pure offense. Like, it can hit so hard unboosted.
yeah, this team just can blow. Like, this is a team where its longest battle is going to be like 20 turns.
Oh, that's stretching it. But yeah, no.
Like, realistically, with this team, something is dying every turn, whether it's on your side or the other side.
So, do we want to put this? Where do we want to put this team then?
I agree with B tier. I'm just wondering where in B.
So, like above.
I'm thinking on the lower B side, just because I think most of the other B teams sort of have a much clearer path to victory. This one just feels like it's going to run for victory, and if it doesn't get there, it doesn't get there.
Its legs might give out, and it's gonna run, even if its legs will give out.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is sprinting. It is not a marathon for this team. It is a sprint.
Yeah, and like card game turns, this is just an aggro deck. This is just a deck that floods the board for like 2 turns.
This just wants to OTK.
Not even OTK. It just plays for like 4 turns, and if the opponent's not dead, it just like concedes.
It's like, well, my opponent is in a better position. I've lost my win cons. Like, yeah, no.
This is the Yu-Gi-Oh team that scoops when the first Ash Blossom comes out.
Yep. Meanwhile, like, compared to, like, Poke has, like, a very grind game team.
Oh my god.
And then this is, like,
I want those teams
exact
to fight.
If this went up
I think this
against
team is
Poke,
slightly better than. I think
this
this team is slightly better than.
So
yeah,
do we want to put this,
I do think this team
below Ellie or.
That's exactly where I'm putting it. I'm putting it right at the bottom of B, so right above Tim's team, but like in the tier above.
So
I've been keeping
of
track of everything. So let me.
Yeah.
There's where I have it. I think that's what we agreed on.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd agree. So I guess that'll do it. Thank you all for
That'll do it.
and watching. Oh my god, it's been 3 fucking hours.
Yeah. Hey, like I think we spent less time on this than we did on GTO, where we had 12 teams that talked for almost 3 hours.
Oh god.